Wow. Just seeing what Kent Hovind was saying. I mean, the fact that he basically was saying that animals that can, for some reason, intermingle, yet their offspring are not viable. I mean, for a species to be viable, it has the offspring they produce have to be animals that can, for some reason, intermingle, yet their offspring are not viable. I mean, for a species to be viable, it has the offspring they produce have to be. I'm picking up an echo.
I think that's you.
Yeah. Do you have your YouTube feed running without muting it?
Yes, I did. I am so sorry.
Yo, I don't need to put headphones in, do I?
No, that was my fault. That was my fault entirely. I am so sorry, everybody.
It's all right.
Yeah,
It's Hangouts, Lusty. It's Hangouts.
I was just gonna say when I was surprised actually you didn't go on that one, Aron. I mean, just it was one thing I thought of when he was trying to talk about the interbreeding. I was going like, ring species, are they different kinds then? Even though they're salamanders or whatever other, I'm not sure how many other ring species types there are. I just know salamanders are a good example on that. I'm like, so is that a certain salamander kind and another salamander kind because they can't interbreed, or are they still the same kind?
Yeah, Kent's description, according to a number of videos where he's contradicted himself a little bit, when he does kinds, he really does. He doesn't know that he means clades, but that is what he's describing. He just doesn't understand cladistics. I mean, he had to look it up in the dictionary, I think, for the first time in his life tonight. That is what he's been describing this whole time.
Yeah.
Aron, I have to make a comment here. He said that animals that can somehow breed are of the same kind, even though technically if a jaguar and a lion produce an offspring, it's not it doesn't have its own sexual reproductive viability. It is sterile. Therefore, it is not a viable species.
What I've seen with a lot of creationists is that they want to view the created kinds, right? So they'll say that God created these and that you can mix these and you'll get these other things. But, so they start with a number and then they mix them to get a lesser number. But of course, evolution works exactly opposite of that. You start 1 and get 2 and then 4 and then 8 and so forth.
And what I found funny was another one I found funny of what Kenneth talked about, and it was early on, is when he flat out said, he gave almost the exact definition of evolution by natural selection and claiming that was not evolution. I'm still trying to figure that one out myself.
Yeah, he argued against me for like 10 minutes where I'm on mute just to keep myself from interrupting him. Yeah. But he's explaining evolution this whole time and doesn't know it.
Yeah, I was like, isn't that what you're supposed to argue against, Kent? Not for?
I mean, the thing is, I actually am Christian myself, but unlike Kent, I am not of the everything was created in 6,000 years school of bullshit. I am not of that class.
Well, you know what's funny is, how did Kent think that you had speciation without evolution? I don't know how that would even be possible. I mean, the result of evolutionary processes is the fact that you have a speciation event. So how would you ever have this created kind that has changed into all these other now speciation events and not have evolution? It's not even sensical.
Well, that's kind of what they are. It's like I don't want to say it's the definition because it's not like sex doesn't lead to evolution, but it's,
but speciation can only occur after you have enough changes of allele frequency where the species is no longer something that is can be reproducible. It's be reproduced with their ancestry, right?
Right. So that he never gave a definition for what a religion is.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, he said that a religion.
I think it is impossible to define, but that's neither here nor there. Really, it doesn't necessarily matter for most of the conversation. I think the conversation that was between the two of you was more about. I guess with him trying to say that you have a religion is where the definition of religion.
But he's talking about
is that why that was provided?
Yeah, he thinks evolution and atheism are both religion, and it's just a bastardization.
They might be worldviews, but they're not religions.
I mean, I would say the best answer I can give for a religion in that sense, I will actually point to one of Hello, My Name is Kent Hovind series by Logic, where he went through like a 12 or 13 point list that he found, and it was the most broadest definition of religion that I mean you could almost argue that almost even being a fan of a sports team could almost classify as a religion with this, because it was
that definition that almost that it, anything appreciate, not just believe, but appreciate for any reason.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was.
The challenge of coming up with a definition for religion is where you need to be able to distinguish religion from fandoms, and it's very difficult to be able to do that.
Yeah. I can find that.
You should have seen the Bony and Pony.
Oh God! No.
Hey, real quick, if I may, can I say hi to my long lost little buddy Chucky Darwin here? Chucky, is that you?
What's up, Steve?
Oh
Chucky's
my God!
Back in the box.
Chucky is back.
Yeah.
Hey,
he's
real
in
quick,
the military, and he's now back. Well, he's still in the military, but thank you for your service. I told you it would be crap. I hope they worked in your ass off.
I have an announcement real quick, and then I got to jump out, guys. But
go ahead.
Number one for watching, but the for anyone listening that's interested, the poll that is going to be that we talked about at the end of the show, we're going to put that out at midnight tonight. I've got to I'm gonna make sure that Aron and Kent are.
I'll retweet it.
Okay with the
everybody needs to retweet it,
so that you can't have anybody saying, well, I didn't agree to that and all that stuff. So at midnight we'll tweet that out, and then the results will speak for themselves. All right, guys, have a good night.
Cool.
By the way, since we're live, I have to say the Mortal Kombat reference. May I?
Yes.
Aron Raw wins.
Fatality.
Fatality. You absolutely creamed his ass even worse than Bubba.
Yeah.
I saw a couple of debates that
I still. Oh, go ahead, Aron. Sorry.
I'd seen a couple of other debates, and I was impressed by the way that Bill Ludlow handled him and the way that King Crocoduck handled him. Because in both instances, the thing about an actual professional scientist is that scientists are kind of conditioned to deal with sincere people who are conforming to the rules of epistemology and and scientific methodology and so forth, and so they're expecting people to be sincere, and it's difficult for them to transition to what we're dealing with now is a used car salesman with an infomercial on at 1 a.m.
Yeah,
I think you make a good point on that.
Hello, my name is Kent Hovind, and if you don't believe my particular denomination of everything, you're going to hell.
Well, and if I can bring it up,
that was interesting the way he ended things on the show.
I had a point I was going to make, but I don't remember what it was. But yeah, the link in the group chat, that is the episode of where what Logic had, and the 1637 mark is where he gives the list of. I mean, it's nine things that would qualify as a religion, and it is as broad as you can get. I mean, it's
like I was saying earlier, the challenge of defining a religion is going to be able to separate it from fandoms, or and then while also having a definition that includes forms of Buddhism that don't believe in God. And often don't believe in souls.
You have a religion that does.
I just the list.
Cap, you keep. There is delay, by the way. There's really bad lag right now. But Cap, you kind of walking on people, and it's.
Yeah, I was trying not to. As I heard someone talking, I'm like, oh yeah, I'll step back.
Go ahead.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I just want to point out just quick.
I did argue this position. My definition of religion, which was challenged initially by my professor, said it wasn't possible to define it. I came up with a definition. He conceded that I did define it, for whatever that's worth. I then tested this in a Buddhist temple, Theravada Buddhists, and they said that they didn't qualify as a religion because they didn't believe in a God, and they didn't have faith, and they didn't believe in an afterlife. They didn't believe in anybody being reborn. But then that very guy, minutes later, said that you might be a ghost for a while before you enter a new body. And I'm like, okay, so you, as in the self that you don't believe in, would supernaturally survive the death of your physical being to be born again? And you're saying that you can pray to Buddha and Buddha will answer prayers in the form of miracles? That's a fucking God. That's a fucking religion by my definition. Why did you say it's not? And I wasn't really allowed in the Buddhist temple anymore.
When even Buddhists kick you out, yeah, that's not very zen, dude.
That's bad.
How they're thought about.
I was gonna say whenever I have a chance, if no one else has anything to say, I was gonna say as I have it pulled up, I can go through the 9 points of what was in that list that Logic found that he went through.
Oh, and I'm pretty sure Logic watched this tonight because I actually had sent this directly to his wife, and I said to her, "Hey, open up a nice bottle of Chianti, have a bottle of wine, get with Logic, cuddle together, and watch the destruction take place." So I told Logic.
They were both watching that. I had dinner with them.
What's that? What's that, Aron?
I had dinner with them one night.
Oh man, that would be fun.
See, I'm jealous.
Pretty sure that they watched it.
I like them individually. I didn't know they were a couple. But seeing them together, I mean, they really are a charming couple.
Oh yeah, no, they're awesome. Yeah, no,
I love Eseth. I love Eseth. I've been in hangouts before with Eseth, and it's just
she is something, isn't she?
It's a delight. It really is.
Wait, you actually seen Logic's face?
I know what Logic looks like.
Yeah,
it's not
we
that.
Were having dinner,
it's like
so
seeing Red's Rhetoric's face. It's like
nobody wants to see Red's Rhetoric's face.
I didn't.
That.
Yeah, he actually blocked me because I was too much of a fan.
Red's?
Wow.
Yeah.
I will.
Red Rhetoric has fans. No, I'm kidding. You know what? Red's Rhetoric. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch his ISS Transit video. It has almost 1 million views already. It's like one of the,
and of
the
course,
best things I've ever seen.
Stat over it.
It's brilliant. It's amazing.
Yeah,
and Sharon had a stat for it.
Oh yeah. Well, Jaron. By the way, Jaron is going to be back. And I've also been asked to moderate a discussion with an astronomer, PhD with astronomy on Nibiru, and I'm like, oh great, that's going to be
not Nibiru. Oh boy,
I thought that's been dead since the 80s, but nope, it's back.
It's not Nibiru, it's Nibbullshit.
Yeah, or Planet X. Yeah.
I just
Planet Excrement.
Yeah, I was gonna say on the debate part, or debate or talk or discussion, whatever in the heck we're referring to it now.
I wouldn't call it a debate because we didn't give a presentation,
right?
And then we didn't have the normal steps that go aside with the debate.
Okay.
And basically, it's just him and I arguing. That doesn't qualify as a debate.
Okay.
And it wasn't even supposed to be structured or even remotely promoted as a debate. And the only person that called it a debate at any time was, guess who?
The King Fuckstick himself.
Yeah, but this elephants and pine trees is going to go down in history.
Elephants and
pine trees having sex.
Yeah, I don't even want to.
I think that if Kent was a little bit more calm about it, he probably could have presented that a little bit better. But instead, like there was a kind of an interest. Like when I view these things, I really want to try and get like what the honest position is of both of the people involved. And Aron was clear. From Kent, I was wanting to get that clarification that I know Aron was chasing. I just don't know if the wording was quite able to get it out, or so. I don't know what could have been done in order to get Kent to answer that question.
Oh, he's never going to answer.
We have the kind in referencing elephants and pine trees, and again, that's more similar to clades, like Aron was presenting. But what is the kind that would be what science considers most closely related to the elephant? What's the next over kind? So would it be mammoths? Would it be mastodons? Would it be something else? Would it be a rhino? What is that animal in Kent Hovind's mind? And I wish we'd gotten there, but I don't think we were able to.
We tried. Okay. I clarified that question as best I could, but Aron, did I not clarify to the point where he loves the 5-year-olds? A 5-year-old would have understood what I said. He couldn't understand what I was saying.
Yeah. So we need to get a 5-year-old instead of Hovind.
I'm going to do that. You know what? If I have to have another kid to do it, that's fine. But I'm gonna
with a 9-year-old.
Find a 5-year-old that considers himself a creationist and throw him in the ring with Aron Roth.
No, Steve,
sound like a good recipe.
Wait, would a 9-year-old work? Because JD Kane has a 9-year-old.
She's smart, by the way. No, his daughter's like sharp.
Yeah. She is. She's smart.
Is she a creationist?
No.
No, those two things don't go together. Come on.
Yeah. I'll say this. I was actually almost in tears when he was arguing the same author and common designer argument. Now, I have a degree in drafting. So
were you crying with laughter or crying in sadness?
Why not both?
Oh, I was laughing
at both.
I could not help but facepalm more than a few times.
Yeah, when he argued design, it's like I love when people argue design because that sends my little antennas up because I'm a drafter. That's what my degree is. That's what I'm trained as. So anyone who wants to argue that, okay, let's argue. Let's look at design. Let's look at it from a design aspect.
Well, I'm okay with design, though. I accept a teleonomic design. I'm fine with that. I don't think there's a problem. Nature can design things.
Yeah,
but
I don't think there's a problem with design either.
Well,
they want to make it teleological, and I don't see any evidence for teleological design.
That's what I'm
for teleonomic, and that's fine. You can call it design. The hand is designed to grip something, right? But it's designed by nature to do so. But that's a teleonomic design.
Yeah, and that I can work with. It's when they argue a intelligent agency like he tries to with God. That's when I'm like, okay, since we have an intelligent agency, well, rule number one of design is don't have any extra parts that you don't need, such as why do we have tails in development?
Simplicity.
Simplicity, because the more that can go wrong will go wrong. And design and mistakes such as mutations or however you want to talk on it
cost lives.
Yes, mistakes cost lives.
Well, I can tell you right now, people are threatening to sue us for the amount of face damage that they incurred by the amount of face palming. So I especially said at the beginning that we were not liable. We were not liable for any kind of damage from face palming. I said at the very beginning in live chat, believe it or not.
Bull fucking shit.
I just did a booze, Steve. That's all I did.
Oh, by the way, I want to get Chucky in here. I haven't talked to Chucky for a while. Chucky actually, a long time ago, you guys might want to hear this story. We had actually 2 discussions with good old Aron Hovind. Remember that?
You mean Junior Dino?
Yeah, Junior. Oh, yeah. This is before I even talked to Kent ever.
No,
Chucky
don't call him Hovind. Call him the jailbird.
Call him the jailbird. But we actually had a couple different hangouts with Eric and. Chucky, do you remember how bad those were? How bad he was?
Oh my God! I don't even want to remember it.
It was horrible. It was. I think that Eric has half the charm of his father, half the ability. I don't think he even gives 2 shits. And I mean, I know Aron knows him pretty well, but I don't. He could not even answer anything. He had like 1 track thing. He's in presuppositional argumentation, and that's it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Battleship.
He's like his father with.
Because that takes a lot less study.
Yeah.
Aron Hovind is better looking than his father. I'll give him that because he's young, but he's not as smart as his father. And think about what that's saying.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not as slick.
Yeah, with half the
his father at least learned a lot of apologetics 20 years ago and has not added to his volume of knowledge since then. But neither has his son.
Yeah, I agree with that 1,000%.
There wasn't a library in the jail. We can just give him some credit.
Yeah, I was gonna say real quick. What I found actually kind of with Eric, so you brought him up, is what I find absolutely funny is that he uses his dad's same old tired arguments. And what's really funny is I always joke that this was an unintentional admission on Eric's part is when he does the whole I spent the best 5 years of my life in 4th grade joke. And I'm like, now the reason Kent makes sense because he supposedly taught that grade. But Eric, I mean, I might actually buy that one on him.
Poor Shannon Eric. She says Eric kind of hates her. No, Eric hates Paula G. I don't know he hates you, Shannon. But Eric does not like Paula G at all. Yeah,
I don't think Eric would like me either.
What, Aron?
I kind of think that Eric likes me. He keeps seeking me out. And
that's because
I don't know. You kind of made him look like an idiot when you kind of explained to him that apes don't have tails.
Yeah.
Well, monkeys have tails, but then again, they're not apes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. At the Ark Park, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that video
on camera a number of times. That he is an example of the acorn that doesn't fall far from the con man.
Yeah, I actually I wanted
the apple doesn't fall far from the jailbird.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I think.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the video that Aron says is about 35 minutes long, if I remember right, 35 or 36 minutes long. The audio is a bit poor, but it's highly recommended that you watch it.
It's awesome.
It's highly recommended.
We got somebody here.
There's destruction, and then there is what happened that day to Eric Hovind. It's like, come on, dude.
Well, I gotta tell you, I think that video we just had with Aron and Hovind will go down as one of the biggest beats of all time in a discussion. I mean, I think what he did with Eric was awesome, but that doesn't even compare to the amount of beating that Hovind took. And you know, I tried to help Hovind. I was trying to explain to him and help him, trying to coax a decent answer out from him. But every time he answered the question, it was a non-answer. Like every single time.
Steve, on that point,
I just a number of times.
What, Aron?
I think I answered the question very clearly a number of times. I'm sorry that maybe you don't get it.
Yeah, no, he didn't.
Yeah,
no, it's very clear that he didn't.
Okay. I just want to point out something here. Yeah. We are going into his talks about phylogeny and the phylogeny challenge, but I just want to point out something. Okay, Aron asked him a can question. Okay. A can necessarily means a yes or no answer. He says, I cannot give you an answer, yes or no answer, to a can question. He doesn't understand English. Why do you expect him to understand evolution?
Yeah, no kidding. By the way, Ebard Thon, which I think is from The Flash, isn't that the time traveler from The Flash? He says to Steve and Aron and the rest of the gang, I'm almost sure you guys won't see this comment, but that was the best discussion I've ever seen.
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that's going to go down to one of my tops by far. There's no question about it.
Well, I thank you very much for that. I really had a lot of fun tonight, and I
was laughing at some of Ken's.
I was,
and I am delighted. With all the prep that I did for tonight
was wasted.
Other thing that we didn't even address.
Yeah, I mean,
it's 5 a.m. here, and I pulled an all-nighter. So worth it, Aaron. So worth it.
Yeah, I didn't get too upset. I was kind of concerned, because obviously we get frustrated, and I saw him get a little frustrated because you had to be frustrated, but he didn't lose it, and he didn't get mad, and that was great because I was kind of concerned. I'm like, oh crap, Aron's going to like lose his shit or something, and he didn't. It was great.
I told Steve that before the hangout started, it was like that moderating this is going to be like moderating a debate between a pit bull and a raw steak. And it's just it's about how it turned out.
I know that there's different ways to moderate. I'm happy with the moderation. I think the moderation went fine, and I think that most people, hopefully, they thought the moderation was fine. I mean, it's difficult. It's really you don't want to.
Fine, except for the part where we had to pull Kent Hovind out of a crater.
He dug himself.
There was a couple of times, Steve, where it was like, okay, the moderator's kind of taking the side here, but there was I think you were caught often in between clarification and moderation.
Yeah, it's a fine line, and it's
trying to get Kent Hovind to understand what's being asked, because it's clear that either he's not understanding or he's just obfuscating. You're trying to figure out which one as a moderator.
Right.
So you wind up having the appearance of taking the side of Aron in the case, and
I suggest
it's frustrating, but
I suggested that we pick up a creationist for the next, because we're going to do this again, and I suggested that they dig up a creationist to help moderate, just to get some kind.
Yeah,
of
we'll get Nephilim free in here, sure.
No, you could get me. I am a Christian after all, but you don't have to worry.
Let's get Eric Hovind to moderate on opposite Steve.
Oh God,
that's just mean.
It's like, Dad, don't do it. You're gonna get killed.
Aron, I have to ask you a question. I really do. If you're gonna do this again, do you need to check your sanity? I know a few good psychologists if you need any.
I think Aron thinks this was entertaining. I mean, that's what he chalks it up as. I mean, obviously, Aron has to make points, and obviously, I think he did a magnificent job. But at the same time, we have to have fun doing it. And Aron, you seem to have fun doing it. You did seem to enjoy that.
I'm sorry to admit that I
do. Why be sorry? You apologize.
Ken Ham is being suggested as a moderator. He might not be working too hard, given that he's curating the ARC thing, right? The ARC experience right now. So his days are free. So
it's funny people mentioned G-Man. We actually had mentioned G-Man earlier before we went on air as a third person.
Is G-Man a creationist? I don't even know.
Oh,
he is? Okay. Well, I guess he's a flat earther almost, so I guess, I don't know. All right.
Well, dude, everything you want to throw into a fundamentalist, G-Man will be part of it. You don't even need to question that.
It's funny because it's like, people always, complain about what attack, Kent Hovind went to jail and that that hurts his credibility. And it's like, no, he went to jail for tax fraud, so that does hurt his credibility. And I love when he brought up the whole, I don't want my taxes going to pay for them. I'm like, wait, don't you have to pay taxes first before you can get fun about how they use
responses?
I didn't even touch that because it was too easy.
Yeah, that was.
It's kind of like. It's also ad hominem because you're not actually addressing creationism at that point.
Yeah, we can make him look stupid. Yeah. Go ahead.
That was just like I said. The first thing that popped into my head on that was like, wait.
Well, let me just point out too that Eric calling, or not Eric, but Kent calling you a moron is kind of like it's kind of like
that was comedy gold.
It's kind of like an amoeba calling a worm.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't want to say anything. I was like,
the kettle is red.
That's hilarious.
I really enjoyed when he told me that I didn't understand phylogeny because he looked up what cladistics is just now, tonight, for the first time.
Right. He Googled it. Yeah.
We had to explain to him cladistics versus phylogeny.
The issue is he decides to say that anything you believe in is a religion. I believe My Little Pony is an awesome show. Does that make it a religion under Kent Hovind's definition?
Yes, it does.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, seriously.
It's and I would argue this. I can argue the sports bit on this. I would say, I'm a huge KU fan, and I would argue Bill Self is the greatest college basketball coach of all time. Now, I can back that up with he's won 14 straight titles in his conference. No other coach has done that in the history of college basketball. But I guess, me thinking that makes me part of the religion of Bill Self, which is
odd. When you water down that word to where it has no meaning any longer, what's the point of having, when people say the word religion, there's a denotive meaning for it. We know what people mean by religion. I mean, you could sit there and try to be specific about it, but generally speaking, you say the word religion, people understand it. But you try to use it in this colloquial fashion to say, well, I'm a sports fanatic and I treat it like a religion. No, it's not a fucking religion. Stop that.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, on the topic, I just want to point something out to Aron. Aron, you did give a definition of religion. I just want to point out that there are some Eastern and Asian belief systems that you could classify as religion, but wouldn't come under your definition. We have ancestral worship. Yeah,
Taoism,
ancestral worship, for example, doesn't involve a soul, doesn't involve belief in a deity, doesn't even go into.
Wait, what religion was that?
Ancestral worship. We have a couple of forms of ancestral worship in India.
I account for that. And in my
animism is another good example.
In my book, I explain it. You're still talking about a supernatural existence of the essence of self perpetuating the death of the physical body.
No. It doesn't go into the soul. We just worship them because of their actions, but as someone who is worthy of worship.
Entities, your ancestors, they still exist. They still hear you.
Oh yeah, that's good. Yeah.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Can't argue with that logic.
Yeah.
Nope.
I think that animism would be an exception to what he's saying.
If animism proposes that you are reincarnated as an animal, or that you have a spirit totem that also survived the death of its physical body, then it still qualifies.
Weren't you? There's more aspects to your definition than just there being a soul.
Ever been presented to me was the Sadducees and Pharisees. It was said that they did not believe in any kind of a spiritual afterlife, that there was no continuation of a living essence of self after the death of the physical body.
Oh, there needs to be that.
Jews for Judaism, and I mentioned this in my book also, they say that the Pharisees and Sadducees are actually the basis of Judean spiritualism, and that they did believe this.
Okay.
Then I wouldn't be religious.
Either.
I'm polytheist. So.
Me, I guess you could call me a deistic evolutionist.
Well, I'm agnostic on the afterlife, so if I don't necessarily believe in souls. I don't disbelieve in them either, but I don't hold to them.
You're agnostic.
I do believe in gods, though. Right, I'm agnostic about that, but I do believe in gods. So I guess I've become an exception to your definition as well.
How would you be an exception to my definition?
If I believe in gods, but I'm agnostic on souls.
What is your religion?
Nordic heathenry. So, like Norse polytheism.
So you're saying that according to your religious, is it asatru? Is it a variant of that?
It's a variant of that. It's if you consider asatru, it's heathenry, but also
just a question: is one of your gods?
Oh, I want to answer his question first. I know that you've been. Calm down. Also true is a kind of a racist version of it. Heathenry is what we're. Yeah. Oh, it's absolutely. It's got a bad reputation. So.
Okay, I have to apologize because I mean, although
it's like saying Christian. Oh, you're part of the Ku Klux Klan. No.
Although I have Nordic ancestry, and I'm very proud of that I do. I've never studied the mythology. And the only thing I knew about asatru was, the continuation of belief in Odin. Really, honestly,
okay.
I didn't know that there was a.
Yeah, there's a lot of infighting among the groups. It's been adopted by a lot of white supremacists, which have used the word asatru, and have also picked up the word Odinism. So
there's an asatru group that had adopted me several years ago and used me as a symbol of their organization. Like, how the fuck?
They're probably atheistic. Because there's a lot of them that are atheistic. That's one of the things that I've been getting into, talking with a couple of other people on this channel. This is getting wildly off topic.
I'm loving this. Go ahead.
If you want to jump back on it, that's fine. But as
all kinds of
definition of religion, this has a lot to do with it, because you can have, like, there's members of the organization that I'm a part of that are atheistic. They don't even believe in the gods, but they're still religious. They don't believe in a soul. They're still religious because they're practicing ritual. Yeah. They're giving alms to gods that they know don't exist, but they value the archetypes that they represent. So I would consider those people religious. I just don't. They don't really get into your definition. Now, with myself, I believe in gods, but I don't necessarily believe in souls. I don't know about souls. I can take it or leave it, but that would also kind of put me outside of your definition.
I don't think it does. Okay.
What about the let's take the most extreme example that I put forward, is the atheists that would still practice ritual.
What, like brushing your teeth?
I would I would.
My definition of religion is not just the ritual. The key factor is whether there is any element of who you are that survives the death of the physical body, or who anybody is that remains after they die. Or
my answer to that would be I don't know.
How about dualism, like mind-body dualism? Would that qualify under religion, even if it isn't after the fact of death? Do you believe that would it be a qualifying condition for religion if your mind and the brain are separate things? So you can have a mind without a substrate. Would that be a religious thing or spiritual?
Yeah. Now, some people want to consider Taoism to be a religion, but it isn't.
I don't think it would.
If you can have a religious variant of that. But not everybody does. I mean, some versions of Taoism will integrate gods, and some versions of Taoism will integrate, different kind of incarnations. But if you're just talking about pantheism, where you worship nature for being natural, and you don't think that there's any sort of you that can. If you believe that once you die, that's it, you're done, then it can't be considered a religion.
But I believe in gods.
So.
What about nihilism?
Are you saying, wait, you can have a belief system that includes gods that isn't religious to you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, shit.
What
there's a lot of people I know that are outside of religion all of a sudden that that worship and believe in gods and are part of a church. So that just seems like a strange definition to me.
Well, hang on. What happens if you have gods?
I think that would be something that from the scholastic non-definition of religion, of more of you know it when you see it, that those people who believe in gods practice ritual and give alms to those and sacrifices to those characters would be religious.
But Ocean, what happens if you had gods but you have nihilism? So you don't carry on after death, but you have gods. Is that a religion?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Is if somebody holds that position, Aron is saying that wouldn't be religious.
Oh, okay.
And I'm disagreeing with that, because I think that's definitely a religious movement.
Theism. Okay, so you have a religion that's based on a god. Theism, But it's again, it's only religion if it includes. It's not the gods that are the important thing. It's whether it includes a continuation after death.
Okay.
I'm not aware of any religion scholar that would have that caveat.
I think that's a very stipulative, definition myself.
Weird.
Yeah.
But anyways, look who snuck in. We got Eric. Eric,
if you can bring somebody else, somebody that's from the field of the study of religion, anthropology, or something like that agrees with you, then great. But I'd be hard pressed to find something like that.
I've been looking around, and I did publish a book that had mentioned this, and then I've said it a number of times. And if there is an exception that would disprove me, then it's done. Then my definition is false.
I think what I want you to do. I got an assignment for you then.
The only thing that was ever presented was the Pharisees and Sadducees, and I said, okay, well, this is significant. If that is the case, then I'm wrong.
Okay.
And then I go to check for as I said, Jews to Judaism, and said, nope, this is correct. You're right. So,
well, right. I'm also citing a religion that believes in gods but doesn't believe in an afterlife.
Okay,
but
so,
what I would want you to do as well,
if you were to present to me a being that I would recognize as a god, okay,
Odin.
So I don't have to have faith to believe that it exists, and it doesn't say anything about whether I have an immortal soul or a posthumous existence in any kind. That's not a religion, is it?
Well, I think that you would have to have faith in order to think that Odin exists, but I don't think he's...
Would I have to have faith if Odin showed up?
That's an interesting question when it comes to empiricism. How would you be able to demonstrate that?
A pagan who worships his patron deity is Bast.
Okay.
And the reason that he worships her is because she showed up.
Right.
She appeared in his house physically.
Yeah. Did they get along? Did they get a date?
Well,
did they get along? Well, she gave him a hug.
Oh, I was hoping
she asked him to become her disciple. And of course, when a topless Egyptian cat-headed goddess appears in your house,
I pay attention.
Right.
Yeah, what a topless.
Now, hey,
I might.
Are you arguing that belief?
Hey, you know what? If Hovind wants, wait, hang on.
Hold on, because this is really interesting.
Ocean, if Hovind wants to convert me, that's the way he could do it.
Yes,
as a headless topless,
what I would consider evidence.
Let's go for that.
Great.
Why not?
That's great. But this is really interesting, though, because it seems like you're arguing that belief can be legitimized on the basis of personal experience. Now, how many Christians have you heard say that that an angel appeared to him or something along those lines, and then they believe on that basis?
Yeah, well, I was a Neo-Pagan myself, and I had more dramatic first-hand spiritual encounters than any Christian apologist I'd ever met, except there's one exception. There's one guy who told me that Satan took him into orbit around the Earth in his spaceship.
What?
Yes.
But that's interesting.
But except for that one guy.
What form of Neo-Pagan? Were you Wiccan or were you something else?
I was Aron. I didn't believe in any deities.
Okay.
I thought that I had scientific evidence for and also firsthand experience of paranormal phenomenon and a number of different respects. I thought that
who's gonna call?
I thought I had legitimate reasons to believe that.
Come on, no one got that.
Can we just quit with the outcries?
Honestly, Jedi was my religion. That's the way to explain it, and I mean literally that. That the Force was an energy field created by all living things.
Kind of like a non-personal pantheism sort of approach.
Kind of, but imagine that. Okay, now a sculpture that you make out of clay is only malleable while it is wet. And that when it dries, of course, the water evaporates out of the sculpture and goes back to the hydrosphere, where the sculpture then becomes ashes to ashes, dust to dust, so to speak. So that could be a good analogy to help you understand this.
Okay.
Concept that
I'm kind of embedded in the pagan community, so what you're saying isn't foreign to me. So I'm just what I'm wondering is, like, would you say that you were religious at that point, or as a Neo-Pagan, or did you believe in like an eternal soul, or did you not?
More so than I ever was as a Christian, because oddly enough, the day that I was reborn as a Christian was also my last day as a Christian. And from then I went into this kind of a Neo-Pagan thing, because I honestly thought that there were good rational reasons, that they were actually scientific reasons to back the things that I believe. And I tried to do transcendental meditation, astral projection, a number of other things that would bring my consciousness in contact with this spiritual world, so that I could, firsthand experience of it. And it's just so easy to fall into faith, to use ambiance to enhance what you already wanted to believe. And it was too easy to fool myself. And I realized what I was doing to somebody else. I wasn't convincing them of things they didn't want to believe. I just realized that I was reinforcing whatever they already wanted to believe. I mean, I couldn't show a Christian Krishna, and you can't make anybody see anything they didn't want to already believe. But if they already wanted to believe it, then anything that you want to add to the ambiance would cause that person to feel or hear or even see whatever it was that they earnestly already desired. So it just depends on which music, is it drums or firelight or whatever it is that needs to enhance that. And when I realized that that's what I was doing to other people, it was a moment later that I realized I was doing that to myself.
Yeah. So you were caught up in kind of the dramatic effect of it, and you realized that that's what you were doing. You were creating that for other people when you were leading a ritual or something.
The vibrations of transcendental meditation leading to astral projection. I've experienced that.
Sure.
I don't know what causes it, but I know that's a legitimate thing, that actually happened to me. It's just that everything that I based that on turned out to be fraudulent. And none of it was actually verifiable. And worse,
I agree with you that it's not verifiable.
Yeah,
I don't know if there's a bad reason to. Yeah. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
And there was no defensible reason to believe it either. So when I couldn't even show that it was possible, much less any kind of a mechanism for how it could be.
I think that's where the disconnect between us might be, as far as like the reason to believe, because I think that your approach is very empirical, and I've gotten that from you in every conversation I've seen you in, conversations I've had with you. In order to get into the theistic aspect of it from experience, and like the experiences you've had, the route tends to be more in the philosophy direction, and I think that the trail can get you to atheism equally with theism if you look at it from the philosophical perspective, because it's either you agree with things or you don't, and your experience is going to influence whether or not you agree with those things. On the other hand, I am surprised I didn't realize that you had those experiences, or that you were as a Neo-Pagan at some point. It seems like you were more of a generalized Neo-Pagan, though. Did you ever get involved in any like specific group or polytheistic sect? Or
no, I had been to a number of Wiccan celebrations. I was even married in a Wiccan circle. Not circle. What the fuck am I? It was a skyclad ceremony.
Got it.
Yeah, and I had.
So you were nude.
I'm sorry.
So you were nude.
Yes.
Oh my!
I do have a question for.
No, I want to continue. I want to hear what he was saying.
Yeah. I just was going to say, after you get done, I have a question for Aron that I do want to ask him.
Sure, I'll see the conversation after this. But
the closest I had to a regular or a single tutor or mentor was somebody who was himself practicing to be druidic, and so, I mean. I never identified as a Druid. I never identified as a Wiccan. I call myself Neo-Pagan because I don't know what other category that could be. If I had read the Tao Te Ching, I might have called myself a Taoist. But as it happened, I saw Star Wars first.
Right.
And Jedi, honestly, was if you know Taoism and Confucianism,
it's very similar to Jedi. Yeah. It's very obvious that Taoism has made its way into Star Wars with Yoda. Yoda is basically Lao Tzu. So
it's pretty much at that point you could see the Eastern influence creeping into the US thought process, with the whole movements. So you can clearly see
that one line from the Tao Te Ching that I just it's one of my favorite mantras from any religious belief. I mean, it's what is it? Nature acts without intent, and so cannot be said to be benevolent nor malevolent to anything. I don't know why, but that's beautiful to me.
I think there's another one in there that you might like. There's two that I like. One is to live until you die is to live long enough, and another one is in worshiping a god. Do not submit completely, because that is the same as putting a head on top of the head you already have.
Yeah, no, the first one, you're right. I love that.
Yeah.
I want that on a bumper sticker or a t-shirt.
To live until you die is to live long enough.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I can maybe make a t-shirt, Aaron.
I like that.
Yeah.
By the way, do you guys want to welcome Shannon real quick? She's been sitting by her patiently going, Steve, when am I going to get in here? You're just
Ron and I have been sitting here meditating together. So.
I'm the only woman in here, and you're not even letting me speak.
I've been very quiet and hi.
Yeah.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, the only woman in here, and she's not the center of attention. How rare is that?
I know. Her ego is bruised at the moment.
No, I'm completely fine. I'm calm and I'm patient. I'm very, very fine. Thank you. I was enjoying the conversation.
I do want to ask you, do you honestly think Eric hates you? I mean, I want to know this story if I can.
He does. He does. I don't want to detract from the existing conversation, but he does. I storm his. I storm his Facebook live feeds, and it doesn't make him happy. He ended one once, actually, because I asked him a simple question. Yeah, he's not a fan.
What a shame.
He doesn't like me.
We're hearing about Shannon's mean side, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
I don't have a mean side.
What did you do? Just go after him like a freaking shark?
You're trolling Eric. That's kind of
No, I ask him simple questions that he can't answer without contradicting his.
Yeah. I've actually gotten blocked by the Arc Encounter Creation Museum for doing just that on the posts they make on Twitter.
Yeah, well, all night long, Aron was asking simple questions to Eric's dad, and he couldn't answer them either. So.
I mean, in all honesty, when have any of these guys ever answered any of the simple questions?
They don't.
The only thing I can happy is they're not Seidenbruggen kid. For me, he is pretty much the worst of apologetics.
Yeah, it would have been nice if I could have just said, okay, should we suspend the entire conversation until you can come back and answer this question?
Yeah.
Well, that would be a very interesting question. I'd be interested in what biologists have to say about that. Why don't you go find out, and we'll reschedule when you have an answer.
Yeah. It's interesting hearing Aron Ra, who has a very distinctive voice himself, imitate Kent Hovind, who
I was going to say, he does a very passable Kent. It's kind of scary.
Yeah. But my oh, go ahead, Tornado.
I actually did an epic Rap Battles of History parody featuring you and Kent, Aaron.
Yeah, it was funny.
I'd love to see that.
It was kind of funny. I've seen it. But my question for you, Aron, is because more when you were talking about astral projection, I just want to make sure that I'm on the same page before I carry on with this line of questions I had for you on this. Was you're referring to like projecting like your mind or whatever outside of your body, correct?
Yeah,
that's what you're referring to. Okay.
Well, it's sort of like that. Yeah, you actually believe, or in astral projection, there is the idea that your entire physicality has a spiritual alternate, so that you can actually you would emerge from your body with hands. They would just be ethereal sort of hands.
Now, okay. I got to tell you, I don't believe in astral projection. I do believe I've had many lucid dreams, but there are different ways of looking at what happened. I believe that's all in the mind, but people do think it's a astral projection. Now, I've actually had it happen. By the way, Aron, Kai, I want you to check your messages on for the question we're going to put on the poll. But I have actually laid there and been in a sleep paralysis type state in more than one occasion where I've lifted up my hands and I've been able to see right through them. I mean, I just stare at them and go like this, you know. But I don't believe that's actually a spiritual thing. I just think that it's the mind creating this construct in a lucid state. But it's very vivid, and you can even have tactile sensation. I could actually put my fingers together, and I've had other people told me they've had similar things. So I think it's a real event, although I think it's a lucid thing and it's not an astral projection thing. And it's just two ways of looking at the same phenomenon, but one is looking at it from a mind-body dualism type position, and one's for more of a monism type position.
Let me give you an example here.
Okay.
I was dating this girl in high school. Now, mind you, we're in high school, so we're kids. Okay.
Yeah.
But this girl tells me that she's into astral projection and transcendental meditation, and she comes from a really weird background, so I'm ready to believe this. And she came over to my house, and I remember she said that she visited me and that I had what she called a wet dream. Now, this is just what she's telling me, because I know she's thinking about me in that way.
Oh my.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm having, as a, what was it, 15-year-old self, my 15-year-old self or whatever, is imagining that this girl has appeared in my room and has basically done that one scene out of Ghostbusters that I don't.
Wow. Okay.
You naughty man, you.
I was convinced that happened to me and that I knew who did it. And that we're both describing the same event. But it gets weirder than that. Because being empirical, I want to put that shit to the test. So I meet her again in school, and I ask her to visit me again tonight the same way she did before.
Yeah.
And this time I went to spend a night at a friend's house. And we rearranged the furniture in weird ways. We took one of the mattresses off my bed and we put it onto his bed. So now, my friend's now on a 2 box springs in one mattress, and I'm just on a mattress with no box springs. And she gives a description. And she talks about how you were sleeping with, there was somebody else in the room. They were at perpendicular angles, that he was higher than I was. And then she describes his reel-to-reel tape player. Who the fuck has a reel-to-reel tape player? She described all this shit. And then we fucked the room all up, and she gave an accurate description of it. And I was impressed.
Yeah.
How the fuck do you pass that test?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know how she managed to hit all the marks in her description of that, but I mean, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Now, it took me a long time. And I saw things that would make a less skeptical person absolutely believe for the rest of their lives. But the funny thing is that with her and with one other person that I've talked about in other instances with other experiences, through the magic of the interwebs, you happen across these you make connections again with people you haven't seen since high school.
Yeah.
And when I meet with her again on the web, I of course bring this up, and I want to know if she remembers it exactly the way I did.
Yeah.
She doesn't remember any of it.
I have had similar things like that with people that I grew up with.
I want to hear him finish what he was saying.
Yeah, she doesn't remember it at all.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
And she is a hardcore non-believer in anything. And curiously, the other person, the druid that I mentioned earlier, I had a really dramatic psychic experience with this person. And this is a shared experience. I mean, normally you would say in your personal testimony, well, there's this other person there, saw the whole thing. When I finally get to connect with him, nothing. Yeah. And not only is he's not a druid anymore, he is absolutely as much a rationalist as I am, has absolutely no spiritual beliefs whatsoever. And it's like these three, the transcendental meditationist and the druid and the Jedi, that we were so connected in high school. The fuck? Did I hallucinate that whole thing?
I don't know. And that was actually kind of goes into my next question that I had for you, Aron, is do you think that, some of these claims of astral projection and stuff and things along those lines are just your mind convincing you that these things happen, even though they never happened?
As I said, I put that one girl to the test.
Yeah, that's why that part kind of like threw my question a little for a loop. I didn't know how on what you thought with that.
She gave a stunning description. I mean, just the very idea that she knew that there would be somebody else in the room where there wasn't the previous night. I mean, just that. We could stop there. How did she know? And there would be two different beds. The beds would be different heights and at different angles. And then the other thing, I think she described the reel-to-reel tape player as there was something on the opposite wall perpendicular that looked like it had big eyes, like an owl. But it's a machine. What the fuck? She's talking about a reel-to-reel tape player.
Yeah, that's what kind of, where it kind of goes, and I know that, there hasn't been any evidence of this, but I will admit, sometimes when things like that happen, it will get me to sit there and think and go, is there maybe a little something to this? But then I think about then I think about like, well, okay, but so far there's not any time anyone has ever tested this claim. Because I think of the
problem with that. Yeah, the problem with that is how would you?
Yeah,
and
well, you have the Randy guy. I can't remember his last name. I think it is who has the $1 million challenge.
Guy.
The
Randy guy. The Randy guy.
His name is Randy something, I believe.
James
I could be wrong. James
He's
Randy.
Like 86 years old. He hasn't been Randy in quite a long time, but.
Okay, I could not remember his name. I cannot, but he has the $1 million challenge, and every time any of those claims have ever tried to claim it, they fall flat on their face. And I'm like, okay, they should be able to do it for this, and that's where it's like, so that's when I kind of go, but they don't really have evidence. It's fun to think about it, and kind of a fun thought experiment at times, but most of the time, no, I just don't see the evidence for it, I guess.
Steve, I have a proposition for you.
You're going to try to come over to my house tonight in your sleep?
Yes.
Do the ghost thing.
That I think one of the episodes of the podcast being a conversation between me and Aron on Neo-Paganism, where he gets to learn a little bit about the Germanic polytheist position I have, and I can learn a little bit about his history and Neo-Paganism. I think that would be
interesting about two people. No, I'm kidding. No, that's fine. I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm
always up for.
I mean, if Aron is interested in doing that, I should proposition that to him as well.
It's not just interesting to two people, the two Neo-Pagans in the audience. If you went back into the 1980s, if you went back to my generation in the 1980s, there would be a whole lot more people that would be interested in that.
Yeah. Oh, I would listen to it. That's for sure. I'm still trying to arrange, and I don't think this is going to happen. I'm sorry, Ocean, but I'm still trying to arrange you and Anthony Magnabosco to get together. But it doesn't seem like it's going to happen.
No, he doesn't like me though.
I know.
He absolutely hates me. But
he's going to be on Monday.
I don't even. The reason why I know that is because he hasn't told me. He avoids me like the plague.
Anthony doesn't hate anybody. Anthony's the nicest guy in the world. But
the only reason why people think he doesn't hate anybody is because he refuses to talk to the people that he does hate. Go for it.
I was under. I had been categorizing, and I realized that I fully admit that this was through my own ignorance. I had been categorizing those who believe in the gods of Greek mythology that we were taught in high school. I was categorizing those as Hellenists.
Hellenist or Hellenismos.
Okay. And I was categorizing because they also taught us they taught us the Greco-Roman mythology, and then they also taught us the Norse mythology, and told me it was too controversial to teach Persian or Sumerian or whatever. They could only, or Egyptian mythology. They could only teach those three. So Greco-Roman being essentially the same thing, and then the Norse mythology I had mistakenly categorized as Asatru. What is the correct description for the current and or continuous, if you will, belief in the Norse pagan gods?
Typically, there's a ton of names for it. The most broad is heathenry. And if you look up, on Wikipedia, you can see a Wikipedia page for heathenry, and it says Germanic Neo-Paganism next to it. There are other names, Odinism, Asatru, and others. But
so Asatru is still correct?
It's correct and specific at the same time. There was a schism in the 80s leading into the 90s where a character named Stephen McNallen wound up, I think he's the one who coined Asatru, and his organization, the Asatru Folk Assembly, has wound up being one of the most Max, hold on a second.
Sorry. I got it.
It has been part of the very wildly racist message that's popped up in North America associated with heathenry. And so a lot of people that are of the Norse pantheon faith alienate themselves from the word Asatru because they don't want the association with McNallen.
Okay, but heathenry is inclusive.
Right. Heathenry would be like covering everybody.
I don't know
the
if
racist nutballs and not on the other side. So what?
I'm guessing that you haven't seen this video, but if you would, you could watch a video I made called "Give the Devil His Due," where I described that the first time that I ever drove through the state of Oklahoma, there was a billboard that says, "Thou shalt not suffer a witch to live," and of course it gives the citation, I think, from Exodus. I can't remember, maybe Hebrews.
I believe it is Exodus. Yeah,
it's Exodus.
Yeah. So I happened to be wearing. I was still a Neo-Pagan at that time, and because of my genetic ancestry, I had a double tourmaline quartz crystal hammerhead that had been handmade by a witch for me.
Okay, in the shape of
my
the
favorite
Mjolnir,
pieces of jewelry.
By hammerhead, you're talking about Thor's hammer, the Mjolnir. Okay,
Mjolnir.
Right. So you were wearing that, and
that double tourmaline quartz crystal that was all wrapped in silver wire, twined with a big.
It sounds like an impressive piece. I'd like to see it. Do you still have it?
I don't.
Okay.
I don't know where it is.
Damn,
am I the only one?
Cool to see.
Am I like the only one here that has never had any type of spiritual experience?
I think a lot of people haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, I was a Christian for 16 years out of my 19-year life, and I've never had one.
Yeah, you know what? It's okay to have a spiritual experience. It doesn't even have to relate to religion or God. People have said, they're relating spirituality to just, looking at the wonder of the universe. And I'm okay with that as well. Yeah. I don't think that's equivocation by any means. Now, I have had things happen that I can't fully explain. I admit that. The whole thing, look at my arms, what the Holy Ghost might have been. But looking back now, I don't think that is enough sufficient evidence to warrant my belief that there was more than just my mind doing something. Now, that doesn't mean it couldn't have been, but that's the position I take as of right now. However, people do have things happen to them they can't explain. It's part of life, right?
Well,
so
if you classify some spiritual experience as like gawking at the wonder of the universe, I do that like every day. But in another sense, basically, I guess you can say I have never seen a ghost.
Okay, Max. I just for clarification here, sorry, just on what you mean by like spiritual experience or belief. Now, I will fully admit I do have some spiritual belief. Well, I guess more. Feeling, because I don't like using the term belief here, because to me, if I say I believe something, I have to be able to back it up by solid evidence. To me, it to an extent feels right, and I'll fully admit, and I know Aron, is probably like, no, that is you believe the same thing or something, maybe, but because I've seen a couple of your videos on it, and they've got me to think on it a bit, but like what feels right to me is almost more like the circle of life, where we're all interconnected through something. What that something is, I don't know. It's just like I said, that's kind of
talking about connected in like a Carl Sagan, Neil deGrasse Tyson sense, where we're all the same atoms, or are you talking about more of a spiritual connection?
As more of a spiritual connection.
Okay.
Such as when we die, we kind of go back to nature and to the earth. And again, and like I said, that's what feels right to me. But I don't ever feel I can say I believe it, because I do not have enough evidence that I know to back it up. And I know if anyone called me out on it, I would be like, I can't prove this. And that's why I don't like using the term, I believe this.
That's I get called out on my beliefs a lot. And I'm going to be able to say, like, look, I can't prove this to you either, but I still believe them.
And that's why I try to distinguish the two on that.
Sure,
so I do kind of have that feeling, but as a belief, I don't think if someone said, do you believe in an afterlife, yes or no, I would almost be forced to, in essence, say no, because I can't prove it. I can't prove it conclusively enough. But if they ask me, does it feel right, then I would say yeah, if that makes sense. Is that kind of like the kind of spirit?
I see the distinction you're making, and I understand what you're doing, but I think I also think that you don't necessarily have to do that.
Okay.
As to say that you have to prove something 100% beyond a shadow of a doubt in order to believe it.
That's wrong. I don't believe that at all.
Puts you into some awkward situations when it comes to saying I exist or something like that.
Yeah, that's logical.
A lot of things that we feel is obvious, we assume it, but then when you try to when you acknowledge yourself that you're doing that, and then you try to apply it consistently, some of the ideas that, like the one that you just espoused, it's something that you feel is correct. You kind of assume it, but you're not going to try and defend it in a debate, right?
Yeah. If someone said, I want to debate you, I want to be like,
I can't.
Yeah,
right.
I can't because I can't. Yeah, that's
because the only way that you can confirm it is with yourself, right? And that's what a lot of that's the position. I think that when you get into a religious position that's well thought out, you wind up kind of realizing that it's like, wait, no, I'm not going to be able to debate the fine points of why I believe this, because the reason why I believe this has heavily to do with perspective.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
You can defend it from a philosophy point of like why the belief exists, but trying to convince somebody of it, that's not going to be easy at all.
People confuse belief with knowledge a lot, and they're two different things. You don't have to have certainty to have a belief. But by the way, Max, thanks for the $5 super chat, and I think Max wanted to say something real quick. Max.
Yeah, I guess I'll just say it now that I'm in here.
Yeah,
I wanted to say thanks, Aron, for pretty much being an internet hero for me, because Kent Hovind has helped ruin a large portion of my life.
Wait, really?
Yeah, and you know what's funny? You mentioned this, and again, I'm kind of surprised Aron didn't mention this in the thing there. But Aron, somebody had mentioned on your Facebook today something very similar to this: how Young Earth Creation had basically made them when they went into college way behind the 8 ball, right? I mean, it just basically screwed the life over. Well, and I had mentioned to that person that I've known other people with similar stories. Well, Max actually is one of those people I was thinking of. He is not kidding. Young Earth Creationism and even Flat Earth has really impacted his family and him severely.
Yeah.
Wow. Flat Earth as in consider a slippery slope. Like it went from Young Earth Creationism to 9/11 conspiracies, all the way down to believing the Earth is flat. And goddamn, it's terrible.
Yeah, it's not a big stuff. Your dad is a nutter.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, so when I was 12, I was told to believe everything that I see in the news and everything that I see on TV.
You were told
pseudoscience documentaries like In Search Of, even newspapers like Weekly World News. I was told that I was supposed to readily and immediately accept that if they tell stories about Bigfoot and Bat Boy, I'm supposed to believe that.
Wasn't Weekly World News akin to the Inquirer?
It's worse.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I was given a book at 12 by one of my relatives called Chariots of the Gods.
Oh, Eric von Däniken.
No,
that was Eric Däniken.
Eric von Däniken. You're right.
Yeah,
you're right.
Yeah, I read that in A Search of Astronauts, and oh my God, they're so bad. So bad.
But I was 12.
Yeah, no, so was I, and I kind of bought into it a little bit at the time, but then when I hit about 16, I was like, oh, this is complete bullshit. And so I read Velikovsky, Worlds in Collision. I read Stitchin, some other stuff, and I was like, this is all crap.
I didn't read Velikovsky directly. I read a Mormon interpretation of Velikovsky.
Yeah, dude, don't. Well, you know what? Do it. Go read, especially now. Go read Worlds in Collision. Holy cow, was that book horrible?
Okay, you just said a Mormon interpretation of it. I thought the next thing you were going to say was Turtles All the Way Down.
Are we talking about in Worlds of Collision? Are we talking about the same book?
Worlds Collision was when Velikovsky suggested a couple things. One, he suggested that Venus had actually been ejected from Jupiter as a comet. He suggested he suggested that some cataclysmic events took place in the solar system that like from all these different things that happened in Sumerian mythos that I think Stitchin was trying to say. It was just a bizarre book.
There was a Mormon that wrote an interpretation of Velikovsky, and Worlds in Collision certainly sounds like that book. And my mother was Mormon, as was a large part of my family. And I remember my mother insisting that I should read that book so that I would understand.
It was ridiculous.
So it's worse than reading Velikovsky. I'm reading the Mormon interpretation
of Velikovsky.
So wait. There was more after the expansion packs of the Bible that I read when I converted to Mormonism. Like I read the book
back in the 50s or 60s. I can't remember. I think it was 50s, and they didn't really know as much as we know about science. And he was just kind of going on misinformation and third party and all this other stuff. And it was total Age of Aquarian pseudoscience. And people were buying into it left and right. They really were. People were following this shit as a cult.
I read the Book of Mormon, Pearl of Great Price, Doctrine and Covenants. Those three books. back when I was in college, because I was lonely and I didn't know who to talk to, and of course, who shows up at my door but the elders.
I was going to say Angel Moroni. I thought you were going to say for some reason.
The saddest thing. I'm sorry. I spent my entire college when I went to college the first time. It went out the second time too. I spent both of those periods, putting on thighs as if they were sunglass frames. I mean, as you do in college.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually do have a question for Aron.
And you say the only people that showed up at your door were the Mormon missionaries.
Well, no. I mean, it's not like I didn't go sow my wild oats a little bit too. But I didn't
mean to be insulting. That's not what
I'm autistic, so it's not easy for me to do that. I was diagnosed with autism at 44. I didn't know till just like recently that I was autistic. So I'm not offended or anything. It's just I slipped through the cracks.
I didn't mean to imply anything negative.
No, I don't take it that way.
Okay. Hey, I need to interject real quick if I can, because this has to be put up real fast. Aron, can you check your Facebook messages, because we are about ready to post on the poll, Facebook, and we want your approval on it.
Yeah.
Oh, shit, I got a lot.
I have a question for Aron or Ocean or both, if whoever wants to really take this one. But you guys had mentioned you guys have mentioned Neo-Paganism. I know paganism is the worship of nature. Or at least that's how I've understood it. Maybe I could be wrong in my understanding here, but what's Neo-Paganism exactly?
So paganism.
Explain it to me a little bit more.
I'll give you a little spiel.
The system did not perpetuate continuously into modern day, so it was revived.
Okay.
And that's what we consider Neo-Pagan, is the revival of those.
Okay.
So paganism is an umbrella term for a number of religions that includes it includes several religions. You have Wicca, and my religion, which is heathenry, and then numerous others, including.
Why is it called heathenry?
Because Christians referred to, there's a lot of Christian records of the people that had this religion, and they're referred to as heathens in Christian texts, and that's just the name was picked up, and it just kind of ran with it from the 80s. I think that the name is confusing. I think a lot of people think the name is confusing. That's the reason why there's been a lot of other attempts at renaming it, but the attempts at renaming it have wound up getting controversial politically because of racist adopting of a lot of those terms, including Odinist and also true.
I'm sorry, I need to jump in with something because somebody asked me to check my Facebook messages. I did. I'd received that same message through another media outlet. In both cases, my answer was the same. If that was Kent Hovind's direct, did I say that the biblical description of whatever was incorrect? The way that it was phrased, that question was never asked. So not only did I not say it was not correct, it never came up.
I don't know what. I don't know what actually the thing was. Kyle had done that, so I don't know what the question actually was. Yeah.
Where the fuck is it? Okay.
By the way, I got a special friend for you who just decided to pop in. Real quick, Ben did a super chat. Thank you for everybody in this event, especially to Aron, whose video brought me to my senses and led me from the church. Hang on to the person who just came in. Kyle, make sure that you get this question correct for the.
Yeah, I've got it. Aron, that's what he sent over about 30 minutes ago. So I wanted to kind of.
All right, let me read this out. Did Aron demonstrate that the Bible teaching that all plants and animals will bring forth after their kind is incorrect? Let me read. Make sure I didn't read that wrong. Did Aron demonstrate that the Bible teaching that all plants and animals will bring forth after their kind is incorrect? That question was never asked.
I don't think I don't remember being asked either, so I don't think it had anything to do with the discussion we had. Yeah, agreed.
Gish-galloping bastard.
Even after the discussion, he's gish-galloping. That's impressive.
I don't want to be caught in the middle where I didn't convey, what he sent to me. So I was just letting you know what came from that end. But I told everybody that we were going to put out something at midnight. So
okay. So what happened to my suggestion? Did Kent Hovind answer the phylogeny challenge?
No.
No.
Not only no, but
not even close.
No.
Not even close.
Not even close, Aron.
Typing now.
I even thought that it's like, I wasn't sure how this debate was going to go, but I think that if your goal was to put the phylogeny challenge in front of him and have him actually address it, that did not happen.
I think the question should be: did even Kent understand the phylogeny challenge?
Nah, I
don't put that on there.
Yeah,
no, but I mean,
I think that's a slight of a question, but
that's fine, and I agree with that. I agree with that, but it still needs to be addressed. I don't put it on the page, but it needs to be addressed. I don't think he does understand it. No, I just don't think he got it. But
well, I'm typing that in right now, and that will be up on Twitter.
And please share that tweet when it goes out, and go find us on the Non Sequitur Show.
What does that mean? Share it.
What's that?
What do you mean share it?
Retweet.
What's a retweet?
Oh, good God! we'll have Ken Hovind explain it to you because he's technical.
Retweet is what happens when you have a lisp and you need to run away and you're part of an army.
Retweet.
So
that was actually good. That was actually very clever. I like that.
Retweet.
Very nice.
I gotta
Retweet. He says, if you want to become an atheist, watch Ken Hovind. He's a perfect example of intelligent design doesn't exist. That's funny. But anyways, hey, look who we got in here. Oh, God. Now he ran. Aron, you just scared G-Man off and you didn't even say anything to him yet.
You know what? G-Man was thinking right at that moment? G-Man was thinking right at that moment. We tweet!
It is funny. He ran away as soon as it come back.
Hold on. Are we referring to the same G-Man as the dark guy who did the answered prayer argument?
Yes.
All right, there he is.
Oh, here he is.
All right. Yeah, I know.
Before we get into that, I do want to poke at Aron to check the side check real quick.
Check
the side. Check the side chat real quick on the Google Hangouts.
Yeah, I haven't been doing that. My apologies.
That's cool. Anyways, G, welcome.
Let me get my technology together. Can you hear me?
We can hear you. It's evolved to the point where it works for you.
Well,
hold on. Can I do a mic check real quick? Am I coming in low?
Yeah.
You're working, Chucky.
Oh, I'm wondering, does G-Man remember Chucky? It's been a long time. It's been several, years actually. But I mean, one of the first hangouts I ever went into was actually with G-Man's hangout, and actually it was with Chucky. He dragged me in there. I never forgave him for it. I'm kidding.
Yeah, this is going to be my first time ever speaking to G-Man.
No. No.
Yeah.
I
want to address a video.
Night all the way around him.
He posted a video about me a couple of days ago where he said Aron Ra's ignorance, and then showed his own ignorance about things I've already made public knowledge about, things that I've already posted publicly about my being reborn in Christ and how I eventually walked away from Christianity, because he said that never happened.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of have a question for G-Man, and maybe I've misunderstood some of
hang on, Kim. I'm not passing this one up. I'm
willing to let Aron. I'm willing to let Aron go first.
Yeah, let him go. I am not letting this. This is gold. Yeah. So
wait a minute.
Cap.
Let's have a mod enforced. Everybody's silent except for Aron and G-Man. Let's just let them have a conversation.
I'm the moderator. David's the moderator. So hang on. So Aron, just clarify. You have two diverginations tonight, if that's a new word that I've come up with, because you never talked to Kent before, and you never talked to G, man. So this is like an eventful evening for you. But go ahead and ask G-Man that. I like to hear the answer.
Well, I didn't have anything to ask him. I mean, he just went with the assumption that I had obviously never been reborn in Christ, but I was. That's a large part of how I ended up where I am. The sad thing is that because I explained to some of you earlier how easy it is to be deceived by a faith-based belief. And sadly, my experience with Christianity wasn't the end of that. It was a little bit while later, in Neo-Paganism, that I realized just how deceptive faith is. But as a Christian, when I was in the company of a friend of mine who is now an ordained Southern Baptist minister and runs a Christian school that teaches that the Bible is the only source of truth in our world. And so I'm with this guy. We were both 19 at that time. Neither of us became who we are now. But as kids just out of high school, I follow him into this reborn in Christ thing. And I remember going through hours of almost like being stoned in euphoria from this euphoric feeling. And I remember asking him, because I've always been empirical, as you guys have already observed. I mean, I said to my friend, at some point, like a couple, 3 hours into this, of just floating around the room, I asked this friend, how do I know that this is really Jesus, and that it's not a demon fooling me, or that it's not a false religion, or that I'm not fooling myself somehow? And my friend grabbed me with both shoulders and with this huge smiling grin just said, just keep telling yourself it's Jesus until you believe it. And I realized, and he still advocates that fake it till you make it philosophy, where you convince yourself of the lie, tell yourself a lie enough times that you believe it. And so when he said that to me, it struck me that that was so grotesquely dishonest that honestly, that was my last instant as a Christian. And within a day or so, I had rejected all beliefs in God.
Ouch.
I real quick. I need one person to drop for about 10 minutes. I got something very, very special that's coming in that I think Aron wants to or wouldn't mind coming in.
I would like to respond to like most of what I just heard, if you don't mind.
Go ahead, and then can somebody drop for 10 minutes?
Yeah.
Other than G-Man and Aron.
Yeah, just to clarify my video, Aron, in that interview that you was in with Steve McRae and Kyle, you said that Mormonism was Christianity. Do you still hold that position, yes or no?
Every Mormon believes they're Christian, yes.
Every Mormon believes they're Christian?
Yeah, find me a Mormon that doesn't believe they're Christian.
I can find you several ex-Mormons. That's on YouTube. That would
ex-Mormons are a different thing.
Finish.
Find me somebody who is Mormon.
I'm ex-Mormon, and I still think Mormons are Christian.
Just let me finish. I can put a bunch of ex-Mormons in front of you and prove to you.
Yeah, you can find ex-Mormons. Find me a Mormon who thinks they're not Christian.
Well, I was going to get to that. I can find you ex-Mormons that will believe that will tell you that Mormonism is not Christianity. In fact, there are two different beliefs, and I'm going to show you why that's the case in a minute. And then number two, Aron, and this is very important. Okay, I can find Mormons that will tell you, and they knock on my door all the time, and they'll tell you that it's not Christianity as well. I'll be sure to make a video on that one day. But can you do me a favor here, Aron? Because I know you don't believe in faith and all that other stuff and whatnot, right? Since we're talking about Mormonism and biblical Christianity. Jesus, and according to this Bible here, we're not going to go by the Book of Mormon. We're going to go by the Bible. Okay? In the Bible, is Jesus and Satan brothers? Yes or no?
Jesus and Satan brothers.
Yeah, are they brothers?
Define what a brother is.
Are you serious?
Yes.
A sibling. I'm sorry you didn't know what that meant. A sibling.
It's not. It obviously isn't that I didn't know what that meant. It is obviously the case that there are different contexts being implied here, such as people will tell me that you and I are brothers in God's way, even though we are not siblings, clearly. But in that context, Jesus and Satan could be, depending on how you define it, which means that I have to define what a sibling is, or what a brother in God's way is, or what do you mean by brothers? So yeah, seriously, I clearly understand, and you fucking don't. I'm sorry that we had to open the conversation that way.
Okay, so anyway, so let's go back to the brother thing here for a moment. I don't mind you cussing. That's within your nature. That's what you do. So anyway, so and
yes, I don't mind that you just had to open the argument with a fucking lie, because that's your nature. That's what you do.
So anyway, so the Book of Mormon says that Satan and Lucifer or Satan and Jesus.
It's not in the Book of Mormon. It's in the Book of Covenants, but whatever.
Brothers, and that's not found in the Bible. And I understand the difference between a brother in Christ, which would be by adoption and by being born again, versus what the book of, versus what Mormons actually believe about Jesus and the devil. Either the devil is a created being that was created by the triune God, God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit, or
but you understand
they're brothers, they're equals. I like
the Mormons are not Trinitarian. You understand that, right?
I'm just asking you, which one is it? Does he have a brother? Yes or no?
Okay. The yes or no question I just asked you is, do you understand that Mormons are not Trinitarian?
Oh, I understand it. And I also know that Mormons are not Christians. They don't believe in the gospel of Jesus
So
Christ.
You don't understand what I just asked you.
Yes, I do. I know that they're not Trinitarians. They don't believe that in God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. They believe in a plethora of gods, that when you die, you're going to become one yourself.
Can you explain what they believe as opposed to Trinitarian?
The Trinitarian believes that God reveals himself in three persons.
Right, okay? But can explain the question I asked you? The question I asked you.
Aron, I like to be very thorough when we're talking about this, so I think this is important to be detail oriented about this thing. Mormons believe.
I wish that you had paid attention to your own philosophy then,
and that people like me, just people like me, can recently be a priest. You know what I mean? So I just want to let you know that Mormonism is not Christianity. On that one point alone, I could bring up other things like the magic.
I can bring up lots of other things to show that Mormonism is a denomination of Christianity. Yes, I can certainly prove that. Have done a number of times for other Christians like yourself, even Protestants who have had to concede that yes, Mormonism is a denomination of Christianity, being the Church of Latter-day, Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and so forth, and that every Mormon identifies as following various Christian creeds and so forth. But you did not answer the question I addressed to you.
Yes, I did.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did. I told you the difference between the Trinitarian and their doctrine.
You did not answer the question, and I will rephrase the question for you so that you can understand it this time, because you clearly didn't last time.
Please don't take down this video, Steve. Please don't take down this video.
Oh, I don't take down any video. But he asked you a question. Hang on, G, time out. He asked you a question relating to the LDS concept of the Trinity, which they're not Trinitarian. They do have a Godhead type position. I
explained it.
What is their position when it comes to
their position is that they believe that as a man on this planet, you can take as many wives as you want, and then when you die, you're going to have celestial. Let me finish. That they're going to have celestial sex and populate their own planets with as many people as possible when they become their own little Elohims or become their own gods.
So I asked what 1 + 1 equals, and you say purple. Do you understand that had nothing to do with what I asked you? What Aron asked you? So literally, we asked you a question, and you gave an answer that was so tangential that had nothing to do with the question.
I explained the Godhead the way Mormons understand it. Now, here's the thing.
No, you didn't. I'm ex-Mormon. We have 3 ex-Mormons in here, and we all agree that you have no idea what they believe.
Okay, so Steve, if you disagree with me, then say you disagree with me, then.
Because I have a video on this.
Trust me, you should not be laughing right now. So here's the thing, though. Okay,
I have a video where I explain this to you for 2 hours.
Wait a minute, Steve. Hold on a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
That is Christianity, right? Aron, can you read the first 2 verses in Exodus 20 for me, please?
Can I read
real quick when we do that? Hogtie has a dinner thing he has to go to. He has to say hi real quick, so I want to get Hogtie in real fast. I'm sorry.
If I go make a sandwich and go watch a movie and everything while he's talking.
Yeah, that's fine.
All right, G-Man, be a jackass. That's fine. Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, hey, pine trees.
Pine trees, elephants having sex.
Yeah, pine trees. Nuts. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna say much. You guys you're on a roll, and we were actually, I just got a call. We were actually just about to start having supper. So, but Aron, it did not seem no surprise, right? We were talking the other day, and it seemed like Kent performed embarrassingly, but is incapable of being embarrassed.
Yes,
that's a good way of putting it. I think that's spot on. Yeah.
And we need to add something to our list of informal fallacies. I think it's a special case of the strawman fallacy, but I want to call it the argument from imaginary textbooks.
I'm putting it on the wiki. Done. It's on the wiki.
With a subset of argument from 5th grade textbooks.
There was a baffling moment.
Did he give any when we asked for a citation? Did he again not give one for the millionth time that I've asked that question? That's not the first time I've asked him that question.
There were certainly straining moments there where you're like, okay, well, just give us an example of this, or just accept it. Okay, nobody believes that we come from rocks. Okay, and this whole thing. Well, let me ask you about if you believe the age of the Earth to this, and let me ask you this. What is a mineral? Blah blah blah. And it just went on like that. But then eventually, I mean, the closest he came to a citation. And this is where it's weird, when you're listening to something. I think Aron did a great job. I think Steve, you showed a lot of discipline, and I think you were very fair. But when it when you're listening and you kind of think, well, this is what I would say, and it's probably good that I wasn't there, because the thing I would have said was when you were like, well, just give us an example of a textbook. Give us an example of one of these science books you're talking about that talk about from rocks. He finally trots out the closest he comes to a citation. Well, I have a grade 1 science book here.
Grade 1 science, got that too. I got a first grade science book. You know it's going to be over my head, but I'm going to read from it anyways.
My kids just came in. RUFK me, I think would have been my response to that sort of thing. But my kids are here to grab me for supper.
Yeah, so. No, we get the. Oh, that was hilarious. That was hilarious.
Okay, so
I want to let's let G-Man go back to tossing out John chapter 3 as completely unimportant in his effort to claim that Mormons aren't Christians.
Okay, so what
have a good night, guys.
Me to read,
G-Man? Thanks,
I'm not tossing out no scripture. I would like for Aron to read Exodus chapter 20, first 2 verses. And I know you guys are protecting him. It's expected. Can you please read the first?
Wait a second. Let me talk. Everybody be quiet.
Everyone knows that
I got something to say real quick, guys. As moderator,
I got your back, man. I'll protect you.
As moderator,
yeah.
If there's anybody in this entire hangout needs protection, G-Man, it's you. Let's get that straight.
Okay, so
God,
what are they protecting me from?
I don't know.
You.
I want to hear this. I want to hear this. Go ahead.
I know you guys are moderators. The person that said I needed protection, who is that? I'm just curious.
We've met before. I said 4 words.
I've never met
my famous quote.
I've never met you in person before, because if I did, you wouldn't be talking to me like this. So, Steve,
yes, I would, sir. Goodbye.
Steve, what's this person's YouTube channel? Who's this person?
I don't.
Subscribers.
Okay, forget about that.
Stop getting distracted and get back on task.
Get back on track here, Dream Man.
You're derailing this entire hangout.
I'm not derailing nothing. I'm being jumped.
Dave, let G-Man speak. Come on, hang on.
Jumped.
So G-Man, just go back on topic here, okay? You and Aron are having a discussion. Have a discussion. I'm entertained.
I'm having a discussion. I see people moving the goalposts, helping him, interrupting this conversation, and Aron.
Nobody's moved the goalposts. My God, you're just changing the subject.
Yeah, I don't need to help him on it.
Everybody else be quiet.
Everybody else be quiet. Let's let G-Man do his thing.
I would appreciate it if you refer to me.
I don't know what G-Man is talking about, and I think that makes 2 of us, because I don't think he knows what he's talking about either. But what passage of Exodus? What was
Aron, that's why no one voted for you. Exodus chapter 20, the first couple of verses, please.
The first so you want one?
You're a politician, right? You want votes. Can you please act like you want votes? Exodus chapter 20, the first couple of verses, please.
So you want verse 1 and 2?
Yeah, just read the first couple of verses, please.
Okay. Which version?
You can use any translation you want. I prefer the KJV.
You like KJV, okay.
Yeah.
And God spake these words, saying, I am the Lord. No, excuse me. I am the Lord God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Okay.
If somebody worshiped a god other than the true and living God, would that be considered a sin? Would that be considered a sin? Yes or no?
That kind of criminalizes Christianity, doesn't it?
Well, so I'm going to say this again. If somebody worshiped something other than the true and living God, would that be considered a sin? Yes or no?
And the answer is yes. Again, I repeat, the answer is yes. And that also criminalizes Christianity, doesn't it?
Mormonism deifies man. In Genesis chapter 3.
Mormonism deify man?
Mormonism deifies man because it makes the claim that you will be a god when you die.
Like God was also.
In the Bible. Right? That is not taught by Jesus.
But they also distinguish that God.
Apostles.
They also distinguish.
I'm not done, Aron. I'm not done.
You're also not right. So you're barking up the wrong tree.
I'm not done. There are 2 doctrines.
Continue being wrong, and then I'll show you where you made your mistake to begin with.
And I would like to learn and be educated and whatnot, but you got to be quiet in order to do that first. So there are 2 doctrines in the Bible. There's a doctrine. There's the doctrines of demons, and there's the doctrines of the apostles. The doctrines of the apostles is idolatry is a sin. So if you claim that you're going to be a god in the future, that is not of God, and that is not of Christianity. You're saying that a man can believe. I'm not done yet. You're saying that a man can believe that he is going to be a god when he dies and call that Christianity. Let me read one more verse to you, and then I'll be quiet. Matthew chapter 7, verse 21. Aron, Pay attention, okay? Not everyone that saith unto me, Lord, Lord, shall enter into the kingdom of heaven, but he that doeth the will of my Father which is in heaven, which shows that Christianity is conditional and that you can't believe whatever you want in order to claim to be a Christian. Now, if you're going to talk to me about this, please actually read the book first. Please.
Yeah, obviously I've done that. So do you have any idea what a God is? Can you give me a definition for that?
Wow. All right. You know what? First of all, thank you for asking me that question. Yes, I know what a God is.
Okay, give me the definition.
I'll give you all of them. It could be a superhuman.
Can you give me a definition that you can show that is correct?
That I can show that's correct. Oh, cool. I can go to the dictionary here for you.
You know, it's funny listening to you talk about this, GBM, because again, these are terms that I think you changed to fit your own narrative than what the LDS use them for. And I've explained this to you in a video before. For example, like if you say, I didn't interrupt you. Let me finish.
Let me answer this question though. If he wants a definition that I can prove,
hang
all
on.
I have to do is go to Google. Okay.
Oh, God. I was actually making a point here. Let me finish my point because it's kind of it goes to what you're saying. If somebody says they're a child of God, right? And I see a lot of Christians saying they're a child of God. Well, if we're children of our parents, we're humans. They're humans. We're humans. So children of God, you say does that make them gods? What the LDS are saying is they're not saying that they're going to be like Elohim. They're not going to be the Father. They're not going to be equivalent to the Son. It just means that they're going to be exalted to a position of a celestial nature, right? But it's not even in the Book of Mormon. You keep on making that mistake, which I've corrected you on before.
I would like to actually read the definition of God with what you.
Okay, so everything I just said, you're just going to completely ignore and go on to something else. Okay, typical. It's okay. Why bother? He just said he wants to learn. I explained something to him, and he goes on to something.
No, you're wrong. Actually, you're wrong. And if I could get my definition that you're so afraid of.
How do you know I'm wrong? You don't even know what the hell I said.
Hey, Kyle. Kyle, you there, Kyle?
Yes.
Okay. So is this going to be like a one-on-one, or is it going to be like the whole room versus me? I just want to know.
I'm leaving. Okay, listen, everybody let me
here. Not the other way around.
I'll stop taking these guys seriously if this is how they're going to conduct themselves.
Let the two of them have a conversation.
It looks like it's two of you.
No,
I appreciate it. So the first definition, Aron, that you want to prove for
is it the two of you, or is it now me too?
Right in, but it's the definition of a God. This is just a simple one for you, okay? Because I don't want to make it too hard for you, okay?
Why do you have to pretend that I can't understand what I obviously know better than you? Why do you do that?
Aron, with all due respect, Aron.
You don't have all due respect.
Better than me. You don't even understand.
You don't know what all due respect
is. And to be really frank with you, you don't even understand evolution better than me. All right, now listen.
G-Man, hang on a second. Hang on a second.
G-Man,
G-Man, hang on a second. Can I be heard here? Am I actually getting heard here?
Yeah, you are, but there's 6 people trying to talk, and so I'm the moderator. Go next.
If I'm not allowed to answer a question,
I just wanted to make one simple point here to G-Man. I was just asking.
Let's just let it be between G-Man and Aron, honestly. Like everybody else is muted up. So
I'm asking a very simple question.
It doesn't matter.
G-Man obviously spent some time trying to Google up the definition of a god. So, considering the fact that he just simply put up the phone, which is pretty, it's not clear on the monitor. Is he able to just read it out for us instead of just showing on the phone that we can't
see? The last 10 minutes, and they obviously don't want to.
Go for it. You have the floor. Everybody else shut up besides Aron and G-Man. G-Man, go.
You don't want me to read it.
Go. You have the floor.
Okay, cool. In Christianity and other monotheistic religions, the creator and the ruler of the universe and source of all moral authority, the supreme being. Synonyms: the Lord Almighty, the creator, the maker, and the Godhead. The second definition, in certain other religions, a superhuman being. Let me say that again. Number 2, in certain other religions, Mormonism, a superhuman being or spirit worshipped as having power over nature or human fortunes, a deity, a moon god. Synonyms: deity, goddess, divine being, celestial being, divinity. Immortal avatar sacrifices to appease the gods. Now, you wanted a definition that I can actually prove. I will not waste my time defining the Christian God, since we're talking about this whole issue of Mormonism, which is idolatry in Christianity. And as a matter of fact, if you ever go to Matt Slick and say, Matt, I got to tell you something, Matt. Mormonism is Christianity. Sir, you remember what happened to you last time? It's going to be twice as bad. You're going to get destroyed because it's not true.
Twice as bad as when I trounced him last time?
Look at Mormonism as a cult because they don't worship the Jesus of the Bible. They worship a
define what a cult is,
Jesus, which you would know about if you actually
define what a cult is. Can you define what a cult is?
A cult?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I mean, I'm not gonna get into how I trashed fucking Matt Slick last time because you would obviously didn't understand that. I just want to get into the to correct the number of errors that you bring up one at a time, not all of the ones that you bring up all at once. I can only do one at a time. So let's start with cult.
Okay, so before I give you the definition of a cult, I disagree with you that you trashed.
Yeah, I told him in advance that his position was so weak that the only thing he could do to argue his position at all.
I was muted.
How about you let him answer first, G-Man?
No, I was in the middle of saying something, and then he interrupted.
I don't care. You interrupted him. Let him answer.
Yeah, I said his position is so weak that the only defense he had was to argue that reality is wrong. The only way he could be right was if reality is wrong. And not 2 minutes later, he started arguing that I couldn't verify that I existed 2 weeks ago because reality could be an illusion and I was all fed by false memories. And I said, thank you for proving my point that the only way you can be right is for reality to be wrong.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when I was fucking before, the guy who has a great debate community thing muted me in the middle of my statement. Let's put that out there. Because that's how it rolls. Aron can't do this by himself. And I've said this forever on my channel. I just want to let you know that forever. Without his voice here.
I command, since I obviously possess power over everybody, I command everybody not to mute G-Man.
Okay, so
okay, but you know what?
Really
hang on. Wait. I have command over everybody, and I could do this. Oh, look at that! Power. You know what? I'm fucking with you. Yeah, let them talk. Come on, Dave. Just let them have their shit show. This is great. I mean, be entertained by this. I'm enjoying this. Fuck, man.
I've been saying forever, atheists don't even understand what Christians believe, and I want to be able to prove it. And he doesn't know what we believe. So,
are you sure I've been a Christian?
Can you be an idolater, Aron, and be a Christian at the same time? Yes or no?
You have to unmute, by the way, Aron. You have to unmute. Manually unmute yourself.
Yeah, you need to unmute. I want to know if you can worship a false god and be a Christian at the same time. You have
to manually unmute yourself because I use
your mouth.
Is there such a thing as a god that isn't false?
Oh. Ooh.
Okay, Aron, you have no proof that my God doesn't exist. How about
you? You have your proof that your God does exist. You have an empty assertion, just like everybody else.
You're committing a fallacy.
Show me that you have the one.
Aron, answer my question.
I did. I just did.
Can you worship a false God and be a Christian? Yes or no?
Yes.
You can. Can
yes.
you show me that in the Bible?
All Christians worship a false God.
Can you show me that in the Bible?
The Bible doesn't admit that you're worshiping a false God.
Show me in the Bible where it says that you can worship a false God and be a Christian.
Show me in the Book of Mormon. Show me in the Book of Mormon where you can worship a false God and still be a Christian.
Sir, I asked you a specific question regarding the Bible. I said,
and I'm answering specifically.
Where it says that you can worship a false deity and still be a Christian.
Since every deity is false, then yes.
Okay, so show me in the Bible that every deity is false. So did you forget what we're talking about?
Or did you forget what we were talking about? Show me in the Book of Mormon. Show me in the Book of Mormon.
What we're talking about?
Show me in the Book of Mormon.
Over and over and over. This guy's a waste of time. He doesn't know how to debate. So, Aron, let's try this again. Let's try this one more time, Aron. Okay. Please show me in the Bible where you can worship a false god and still be a Christian. Because it's not even on my channel yet, and they're laughing. So go ahead and answer that question.
Why does it have to be in the Bible? Why does it have to be in the Bible?
Everything about our faith is in the Bible. He says that Mormonism. Let me finish. He says that Mormonism is Christianity, and says I know Mormons worship multiple gods.
No, they don't.
In the Bible, where it says
no, they don't.
G-Man, I'd like to make a point here. I don't understand why you say it has to be written in the Bible, because as you would probably admit, Mary and Joseph were Christians as well.
Joseph are a
Why is this guy talking?
I want this man to answer my question.
No, but were they Christians?
Can he answer my question, please?
Can you show me in the Book of Mormon where it says that you can worship a false god and still be Christian?
Aron, answer my question, Aron. Stop asking me other questions and moving the goalposts.
I did. I'm not moving the goalposts.
Please show me
other people will explain
in the Bible where it says that you can worship a false god.
Why does it matter what's in the Bible is the question, and he's asking in the same thing in the Book of Mormon. If you're using the Bible as a reference, why can't you use the Book of Mormon as a reference? What makes one more valid than the other?
Mormonism has not been proven to be Christian.
Neither has the Bible. Gee, that's his point.
So here's my thing now. No, that is not his point. He said that Mormonism is Christianity, and I'm asking him to show me how you can worship a false god and still be a Christian.
But he's saying that all gods are false, and they're still calling each other Christians.
And what's funny is this. This is going to bite all of you in the butt later. You're asking me, why do I got to show you in the butt? Are you serious? How many of you claim you used to be Christians? I'm curious. So all your credibility can be stretched up into a million pieces. How many of you are claiming to be Christians?
Me.
Okay, so if you claim to be a Christian, then why do you think I'm asking, show me in the Bible, in the Word of God, where it says that you can worship a false god and be a Christian? Aron's argument is that Mormonism is Christianity.
Well, as a former Christian, I'd say you can get up there.
That, Aron, because you're one person. You're an atheist. You ain't gonna find no Christian that's gonna agree with that nonsense. Come on.
G-Man, let me ask you: does in the LDS Church is the God that created the universe? Okay.
I want to show Aron.
Why do I bother? I don't understand this.
Yeah, wait a minute. I want to show you something. I want to show you something. Hold on.
I'm scared. Okay, let's look at the commonality here.
I can show you book after book after book with Christian pastors and apologists and historians that will tell you to your face.
I don't care. That means
a cult, and it is not Christianity.
Yeah, well, again, it makes no difference.
Nobody cares.
Nobody cares about apologists. Okay, but
nobody cares about apologists. Oh, okay, cool.
So in Christianity, did God create the universe?
What's an apologist?
G-Man, in
Christianity, excuses to rationalize or minimize or dismiss any evidence against their a priori position.
Aron, Aron? I always hear you say something. I like to hear you say it again, like in person. And by the way, Aron, you talked to me before. I should let you know that too. What you said was completely boneheaded earlier. It was on the Magic Sandwich Show, and I talked to you.
Spoke to you before.
And I talked to you on my channel too. So stop with the nonsense. You never talked to me.
I spoke to you before?
Yes, you have.
When?
On the Magic Sandwich Show.
Was that in the days of Blog TV?
No, not in the day of Blog TV.
Okay, so there'd be a record of it somewhere.
Yes, it is a record. It's on my channel. It's on DPR's channel.
You've got a record of this, seriously?
Yes, I do. So that's True Empiricism. You talked to him too.
No, I remember talking to True Empiricism. I've talked to him a couple of times.
Yeah, you talked to me too.
When
I schooled you on the Ten Commandments, when you claimed that there were two different Ten Commandments.
There are.
No, there isn't.
Yeah, there isn't.
No,
yeah,
there isn't.
This is too easy to demonstrate.
No, go ahead and demonstrate it, and I'll answer it in the same way I did before. Go ahead.
Okay. So you can answer incorrectly again. The first set that Christians wrongly cite is the one that's in Exodus 20. However, there are 11 commandments listed in Exodus 20 alone, and that list continues through Exodus 21, 22, and 23, until it finally, in Exodus 24, Moses comes down with the entire list and then, of course, destroys them because, that was stupid. And then he has to go back up the mountain to get the second edition, which we hear about in Exodus 34. And in Exodus 34 is when the Bible finally refers to it as the 10 Commandments, which it did not refer to it as before because it was a shit ton more than just 10. But in Exodus 34, it's just 10. And God promises that it's going to be the exact same 10. But in fact, only the first two are sort of the same. They're paraphrased, so they're not even technically, they're not verbatim, even the first two. But then the following 8 are completely different. And a couple of them are the same, but in the wrong order. And then there's a couple of things that are taken from Exodus 23 and 22 that weren't even in the original set that people refer to as the 10. Now, you're welcome to look up all of this.
Exodus chapter 20 is the 10 Commandments. What you see in the other chapters are more.
11 commandments.
No, it's 10. And
there's 11. No, there's 11.
10. It's 10. And then the next one is a more detail-oriented part.
No. In Exodus 21, 22, and 23, it talks about completely different lists. That's where it talks about how you can beat your slave. And that's where it talks about how you can't charge interest on loans to other Jews because they're racist, and so forth. And then you get into
Jews are racist.
Yeah.
All right.
Would you agree?
All right.
Would you agree?
Have you read the Bible before?
Of course.
You sound like you read the footnotes. You don't sound like you actually read it.
It doesn't sound like you've read anything at all. Like,
no, I have. And in case you don't know who you're talking to, I know you remember that whole that what is that? That unholy trinity, right? You, Dillahunty, and Seth Andrews, right? Yeah. You know your boy is running from you, right? And that's Matt Dillahunty.
Boy?
Yeah, Matt Dillahunty is running from you. And you want to know something else, Aron? I actually didn't want to come in here because I told Steve, and I told a lot of people on GTV and my other channels and whatnot, that you don't know how to debate, sir, and you don't know what you're talking about.
What do you mean my boy is running?
You don't either, okay?
Demonstrating it here.
I didn't know I had a boy, but go ahead and tell me how he's running from me.
No, I'm not running. I would never run from you. It's nothing to run from.
I never imagined that you were my boy.
You have faith, Aron. I can prove you got faith and that you practice it every day.
I don't have faith, and I don't have a boy, and Matt Dillahunty wouldn't be my boy if I had one.
Okay. I'll tell you what, Aron. This is what you do.
But I'm asking you, what?
I know you demonstrate faith every single day.
I don't demonstrate faith every day. I'm trying to get back to the original. What do you mean by?
You explain macroevolution to me.
You said that Matt Dillahunty was running from me. What do you mean?
Can you? Oh no, he's running from me. He's running from me.
He's running from you.
on a slavery issue, because I got a reputation for G-smacking him all over the place. You should have seen when I called the atheist experience and proved that you're not even an atheist. You know what I mean? I prove this all the time.
Okay, I don't even believe you're real.
Well, I'm real. I don't believe you're an atheist.
I don't believe you're an atheist. When you say things that are so preposterous that not even you could believe them,
I can prove you're not an atheist. I can prove you're not an atheist.
So wait, can we start a movement that G-Man? I believe G-Man. I believe G-Man does not exist. G-Man is not a real person. I think maybe we could start a religion over that. I don't know, but we are actually going to have this a debate, a discussion, or whatever with G-Man and Pam Whistler from American Atheist on the question: do atheists exist? He actually wants to argue with Pam from American Atheist that atheists do not exist. Is that correct?
They don't exist, and I'll give everybody.
I'm not exaggerating. That's his argument.
We're starting a religion now based on a person that doesn't exist, that is not a deity.
They call that Christianity according to some. I don't know.
I'll explain what Aron is and what Aron is not. Aron is a misotheist and an anti-theist. Aron is not an atheist.
Oh, G-Man, first of all, stop.
Wait a minute, because your friend is going to hear the same thing.
You cannot be a mesotheist unless you're a theist.
Hold on a minute. This man hates God.
Theist, not a type of atheist.
Religion. How? I don't know, since he's the one himself. Because Aron, I don't know. You know, in the United States of America, atheism is recognized as a religion, Aron? Like, did you know that?
No, it's not.
It's mega churches, Aron. Did you know
I don't
that,
think you've actually read anything. Holy shit. Nobody can even really talk to you because you have a different
opinion than
up in front of your face.
G-Man, we've asked you this before, and Hogtie has asked you this specifically, if I'm not mistaken. Can you give us a citation from the Supreme Court where they've recognized atheism as a religion? Because I've looked into this, and I've looked into this extensively with lawyers, and I can tell you right now, there's no evidence to support that claim.
So I tell you what, since you want to play the word games, go on Google and get
not word game. No, I'm not. This is not word game.
Listen, I'm more than prepared for this. Go on Google and get the article. You know what I'm talking about.
Which article?
Go on Google and get the article where the Supreme Court recognizes atheism as a religion.
No. That's not what the Supreme Court said. I've read what the Supreme Court wrote on this.
What they said is what it's recognized as.
It doesn't matter what the Supreme Court did. Did you just say it doesn't matter what the Supreme Court said? Let me tell you what the Supreme Court said.
You can Google it.
Wait.
Tell everybody what was said. And then I'll share my video. How about that? So go ahead.
The Supreme Court said that atheism is recognized as having the same constitutional rights afforded to people with belief. It did not recognize atheism as a religion. That is a distinction.
That means it's a religion.
Made.
That means it's a religion.
No, that is not what the Supreme Court said.
That definitely does not mean it is a religion. Holy shit.
It means it's a religion. By the way,
McCary County versus the American Civil Liberties Union.
And by the way, Aron,
oh my God.
You interrupted me in the middle.
Man, have you consulted with a lawyer over that definition?
Of you being a misotheist and an anti-theist sticks, because you know how many people in this room has actually debunked it? Nobody, and nobody ever will. Okay, so the bottom line is you're a misotheist and an anti-theist. There is no proof and no evidence that you don't have any that you don't believe that any God exists whatsoever. Now,
there's no proof.
Interestingly enough, has a different definition for atheism. He believes it's the denial of supernatural gods, but not the denial of natural gods. That's why I would love to have this conversation right now.
What conversation do you think you're having?
I want to have this conversation. All right, I know you gotta be a comedian because this is your platform with other atheists and whatnot. You don't have to be serious.
I'm not atheist.
I understand that, and I get that. I say that. But even if you were serious right now, Aron, you don't got a legitimate answer to what I'm saying. If these people are just going to laugh at me, all they're going to do later on is atheists produce non-productive Google Hangouts, invite Christians in so that they can laugh. They don't know how to have serious conversation. And then you guys will get mad at me and downvote my videos and say I'm wrong while you're actually doing what I say that you do. So let's be serious here for a moment, Aron. Are you an atheist, yes or no?
Yeah, I'm an atheist.
Prove it.
How a lifelong career isn't sufficient?
Listen to me. You have said with your mouth that you're an atheist, but what you have demonstrated has been anti-theism, meaning that you're against religion, and mesotheism, that you clearly hate God. You have not demonstrated that you do not believe that at least one God exists.
What would I need to do to demonstrate that I haven't already done to demonstrate that I don't believe that there's a God?
Oh, that's really easy. All you got to do is define for me what you don't believe in.
Okay, how many times have I done that already?
No, you haven't. You just
how many times? How many different videos?
Because I know what you're going to say, because I've done my homework. Go ahead and define it.
What am I going to say?
You're going to say that you don't believe in any supernatural guys. You ain't going to say it like that, but that's what you're going to say. So please just to give everybody your definition. Go ahead.
Okay. A magical, anthropomorphic, immortal.
Say that again.
Magical, anthropomorphic, immortal.
Okay, cool. So what if I can give you something that you can touch, taste, smell, or something that appeals to your five senses?
Okay.
What if I can do that? Would that prove to you that a God exists?
If you can show me a God that we can verify it actually exists, bring it.
Now, here's the thing, Aron. We have to go by the claim. You know that, right? We have to go by the claim. You know that, right?
I don't know what you're saying right now.
What I'm saying,
he's going to tell you that trees exist, therefore you're not an atheist.
Well, that's not what I'm going to say.
That is actually.
I would appreciate
that is actually.
If this was a one-on-one conversation. Did Ken Hovind walk into like a jump or whatever? Like, I understand you atheists don't know nothing. You got to help each other, but I would like a one-on-one for once. You know what I mean? I know you guys don't know anything. Let me talk to the guy. He claims to be the best of the best. Let me talk to him one-on-one.
I'll tell you what. You could have a full one-on-one for like whatever, 10, 15 minutes because I'm gonna go do something. But
good. And I gotta
let me finish my sentence. Can you answer us one question? Because a couple people want me to ask you this, and I haven't seen you for a while. So I said the next time I see you, I'm gonna ask you this. Is there a separation of church and state, or do you still believe that separation of church and state is no longer valid? People have been asking me to ask you this.
I'll answer that in video.
No. Come on. Hey, you answer it in here. Come on, G.
No,
straightforward question.
That in video. That's
really. I ask you a very direct, straightforward question, and you want to.
I will answer that in video. I'm smart enough to do that. So here's the thing, now. All right, Aron.
Go for it.
Let's say we don't use the Christian claim because that claim requires faith, and I have to prove that you're not a, what do you guys call that, an epistivist? I have to prove that you're not an epistivist, which I'm going to do when we talk about your theory of evolution, which you have to have faith to believe that garbage. But anyway, listen.
Okay, now you know you're going into bad ground here.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to go by another religious claim.
I can prove evolution even to your satisfaction.
No, you can't.
Yeah, I can.
No, Aron. No disrespect, Aron. No disrespect, Aron. With all due respect, Aron.
You don't have due respect. Yes, I can.
You can't even tie my shoestrings. Just stop it, okay? Stop it.
I don't believe that you are real.
Just stop it, okay?
I think you're a Poe.
Aron,
I've never believed that you were sincere.
You don't know nothing about the topic. Let's move on here, okay? So moving on now.
I do not believe that you are remotely sincere. There's no way you could be.
Well, anyway, so let's talk about a different religion here. Do you know about the 5%ers, Aron? Yes or no?
No, I've never heard of that.
Okay, so you never heard of it. So how are you rejecting it then?
I don't reject it. Well, how would I reject it?
You don't reject it, now you're an atheist. Because they believe that human beings are gods.
What?
They believe that human beings are gods.
Do I have to already know about or already reject every wackadoodle belief I've never heard of?
Well, actually, yes. In order to be an atheist, you do.
Why? I thought atheism was just a rejection of the God claim.
I have this book called the LaVeyan Satanic Bible that also claims that human beings are the only gods that ever existed. The Humanistic Manifesto says that the only God that ever existed was human beings. Sir, I can show you a bunch of different religions. Wait a minute, hold on a minute. That says that human beings are a god. Now, unless you got a legitimate, logical, and rational reason for that not to be true, according to their definition, not yours, because remember, you're just rejecting it. You have to go by their definition. Can you prove to me that you're an atheist and how you're rejecting a human being being a god according to their religion? I know how I can do it in Christianity, but you as an atheist that thinks that you evolved from a grape, I don't know. So anyway, so can you please explain to me? Can you please explain to me how the 5%ers are not gods according to the atheistic worldview without contradicting yourself?
Do they have magical powers?
They don't need magical powers in order to be.
So they don't have magical powers.
They don't need to have magical powers.
Okay, so that's one of the first criteria to be a god. So they don't have the first criteria. Okay, so do they have human characteristics?
Okay, Aron, you don't need magical powers to be a god.
Well, yeah, of course you do. You need to be able to perform miracles, right?
Not according to their religion, you don't.
Well, regardless, according to the only definition that I know for a god, you know, you need to be able to perform miraculous things. You have to be able to perform miracles, right?
Not every God is defined that way, Aron. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The 5%ers believe that human beings are gods.
Who the fuck are the 5%ers?
That's not the truth.
Who the fuck are the 5%ers?
Just explain to me how you know that's not the truth. You said you reject it, so tell me why you reject it.
I just told you.
Because they don't got magical powers. That's not their claim.
Okay, so random, uncertain, undefined weirdos have some notion that is as yet unexplained. They believe in gods, and they believe that people are gods. So random, assorted internet weirdos, New Age beliefs. Okay, random
New Agers believe that they're gods too. They believe that they can scientifically prove that with I forget what it's called, but it has something to do with the psyche. That they believe that that's their divinity that lives inside of them. And I know how to debunk that as a Christian, but as an atheist, how do you go about debunking that when all you do is say you reject the claim without actually knowing what the claim is?
I don't reject a claim before I know what the claim is. I just explained that to you.
So you're not an atheist then. You're just a rejecter of Christianity.
I object to the God claim.
Okay, so tell me about the God claim of the New Agers.
So atheism is a lack of theism, and theism is a religious belief in a God. I don't have a religious belief in a God, so that makes me a theist. I lack theism.
Right. So why do you reject 5%ers and the New Age claim?
Who are the 5%ers?
Okay, G, you have to explain to him the 5% Nation. He's never heard of the organization. Okay. It came from Harlem. It was just a group of people that believed that the Afrocentric nation, the original indigenous people of Earth, and they call themselves the fathers or the gods of Earth. It's a very, very cult-like fringe organization.
Right, very cult-like, yes. You're right.
Yeah. There's no reason why Aron would have any exposure to that, and you keep on treating it as if he knows what the hell you're talking about. And he doesn't know what the 5 nations are, because
I had no idea they were either.
Yeah, like the BHI, you talk about the nation of the ISUPCK. People don't know who these things are. G.
Right. Aron, so you're rejecting your gods. You say that
he's not rejecting it. He doesn't know.
Let me finish. If he's saying he is without theism, then in order for him to do that, he has to know what the claims are. If he knows definitively, if he knows definitively that there is no God, or he doesn't believe that there is no God, then he should be able to define what he's talking about.
And I did.
He did. I don't agree. I'm the first one I don't agree with his definitions, but he did define it.
Talking about the Christian God, Muslim God, and the Jewish God. He ain't talking about nobody else. So, Aron, I'm gonna ask you this again, Aron. Why is the New Age claim wrong? And why haven't they provided any evidence for it?
I have no idea what group of people you're talking about. My definition of God.
Being agnostic.
What?
How does it feel being agnostic? Yeah, that's what you are. At least
agnostic. He's an atheist.
You don't know if any other gods exist, because you can't claim that you know definitively that no God.
I know that gods cannot exist. I know that no God can exist.
Let me quote you. I think that is dishonest to assert as fact. But look, go ahead, Aron, say it. I think it's dishonest to assert as fact.
Empty speculation as though it were fact, yes.
Right. And
so Christianity is a lie.
You're an atheist. You're not an atheist. You're a mesotheist and an anti-theist.
What is a mesotheist?
An atheist, because atheists don't exist. And let me tell you something. It ain't just you.
What is a mesotheist?
Demonstrated this and showed them, and they didn't know what to do. So don't feel bad, okay?
I didn't even hear most of the shit you just said, but it's funny as fuck. What I was able to
think it's funny when you say that there's no God, and especially when you're so confident and you can't prove it. There's a lot of faith to believe that, don't it, Aron?
Yeah, how would it have faith to say I don't believe you?
No. It's faith when you sit there and you act like there's no God when you can't prove it. Tell me something.
That's so backwards.
Listen, Aron, prove that God's not in my house.
Prove that you don't have a dragon in your garage?
He's not in my house. Well, he's not.
Where's that pink elephant behind my head?
You don't have fairies in your garden?
No, I want you to prove.
Do I have to prove there's no celestial peacock?
Aron, you're supposed to say that the burden of proof is on the one making the claim. I'm trying to help you here, Aron. You don't even know how to debate.
Prove that there's no invisible pink unicorn?
No, I don't believe in unicorns. I believe in God. And there's a difference between a unicorn claim.
The fuck is a God?
God. They are not the same, Aron.
What's a God?
If you can read it, you will understand that.
What is a God?
Okay, I'll get the definition for you again, so that you can.
Your definition.
No, my definition? Oh, it's the true and living God. And anyone that worship the true and living God must worship him in spirit and in truth. You want my definition?
Does anybody have a reason to believe that?
Yes, I do. They're atheists.
Can you give me the reason to believe it?
Of course they don't got no belief. They don't got no reason to believe it because they reject it. And that's the Christian God. That's one God, Aron. One God.
Can you give me a reason to believe that?
Oh, yeah. You can believe that on faith because there's no way in the world that you can. There's no way in the world
cannot give me a reason to believe that.
Evolved from a Neanderthal or any of those other ridiculous evolutions.
And you know that nobody believes that, right?
Everybody.
Wow, he understands evolution better than you are, and yet says retarded things about it.
Aron, you're not speaking for me, Aron. You're making a mistake now because now you're speaking for Steve and everybody else in this room, everybody else watching this, everyone at home watching this, and everybody else, Aron.
How the hell is he speaking for me?
Because he just said, nobody believes that.
Well, he's probably right, but that's not. He's trying to speak for me.
With this rookie? Listen, Aron, you don't know what you're talking about.
Does anybody in this hangout or anybody who ever?
I wonder what the answer we're going to be.
Hold on, G-Man. Hold on. And I'm loving your stick. I'm actually enjoying this. Is funnier than I thought you would be in real life. but seriously, is there anybody in this hangout or whoever existed and ever published any claim to this comment? Did anyone ever believe that people evolved from Neanderthals?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
But I will tell you this. I have met creationists for some strange reason who think that that's what evolutionary teaches, and I have no idea where they get that from.
Okay, I apologize, ladies and gentlemen. Human beings did not evolve from Neanderthals, so that means we don't share a common ancestor with them either, do we, Aron?
Why?
That's not
if we didn't evolve from Neanderthals, then we don't share a common ancestor with them either.
What?
Wait. Did you evolve from your cousin?
Aron, I'm so many moves ahead of you, it's not even funny. Okay?
Wait.
Did you have any idea what you just said, G-Man?
G-Man,
oh my god.
Technically correct.
Oh my god.
Technically, that's correct, Aron.
I'm trying to throw you a lifeline here, G.
With them, right?
Oh, Jesus. I'm throwing you a lifeline here, G. You are so fractally wrong right there. You are a level potato. Okay.
Laughing at me.
You're a level potato right now.
Just me and telling me I'm wrong doesn't prove it. You have to actually prove that scientifically, Steve, without faith, Steve. So prove it.
Let me prove that scientifically.
Wait a minute. Hold on a minute.
Prove that scientifically.
Prove it. You can laugh it up. Watch me laugh now, because I got a banana back there that you believe I'm related to. So
oh God! Now you're Ray Comfort.
I am way too sober for this. I gotta get something to drink, man. This is great.
I want to say one thing.
Our open discussion.
Just for kicks and giggles, they believe that these are their relatives. All right. So remember, these are people that are laughing at me.
Dad, is that you?
Cousins. So go ahead and laugh all you want. You share a common ancestor. Now, if you say you don't believe that, I got a couple of videos that Aron made himself that I like to show you.
You know what? I hate to say it, but after this, even intelligent design makes sense after this. I gotta go find
it. So Aron, so we didn't evolve from Neanderthals. Where do human beings evolve from?
Before I answer this question, I just want to give you full cred. That was funny as fuck.
I'm pissing myself.
Aron, where is your scientific evidence, Aron? This is the second time I'm asking this question. Where is your scientific evidence that I evolved from any animal?
You are still an animal now.
Oh, I am. Can you prove that?
Yes.
Without faith, by the way. I want to see it. Where's your proof?
Man, God damn it.
Where's your proof?
Before we go any further, I sincerely want to give you an homage here. I don't believe you're sincere at all. I think
he
you're
is
completely a Poe, but you are funny as fuck and witty as hell. And while other people,
what I want, Aron, but if you're gonna go there, the fool has said in his heart that there is no God. So
I will tell you this.
So please tell me, where is your scientific? This is my third time asking this question. Where is your scientific evidence that I evolved from an animal? Please bring up the fossils. I'm just waiting.
Wait, is your parents animals?
Bring them up.
You don't need fossils.
Oh, he doesn't? Grow. Aron, where's your proof that because I've been asking this question forever on YouTube, and I got scientists running from me, Stephen Gray's running from me, everybody's running from me on this topic. Now you're
tired of telling
they're running for different reasons.
G-Man,
who's this crazy man?
Empiricism, bro. This is for you. 3 times I asked him this. 3 times. Answer the question, Aron.
Your mom.
This is for you.
G-Man.
Your mom and dad are animals, and you're evolved from them. So there you go.
Answer the question. And I use Hovind's arguments, and I just kind of revised them a little bit. So can you please answer my question? Where's your evidence without faith, Aron?
That the fact that you use Hovind's arguments kind of detracts from your normal witticism.
That's 3 times I asked him. It's the 4th time. Where's your evidence, Aron?
You can keep asking, and I'm going to give you the answer, but it doesn't matter how many more times you ask the question before I say this. I'm actually giving you a compliment. I think your performance is fucking brilliant. I'm being sincere.
I gotta stand for G on this. G actually believes all this shit. He's not a Poe. He actually doesn't remotely understand these concepts.
I understand you guys think it's funny and you guys legit. But for the 5th time today, can somebody please provide me with some evidence that I evolved with an animal? And I want Aron.
Okay. I'm going to pretend. That you can really believe this.
I can go. Let me call true empiricism.
You asked him a question. Now let him answer. He's going to pretend.
Before I call true empiricism, who clearly knows more than you guys. So go ahead and answer.
True empiricism. If you think true empiricism,
let me answer my question faster than you can. Let me answer right now. Laugh it up. Nobody's answered my question yet, and I'm leaving this. And I still have not gotten the answer to my question.
Because you won't shut up.
Answer the question.
Then shut up so I can do so. What is an animal?
I'm not answering that question, Aron. Give me your example that I evolved from an animal.
That depends on what an animal is, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. So we're being subjective then. You want to play the subjective game with me?
No, we're being An
animal is a cat. An animal's a cat. Prove I evolved from a cat.
Okay, so an elephant is not an animal.
You are retarded.
An elephant is not an animal because an elephant is not a cat.
Aron, please answer my question. This is
what is it? Is an elephant an animal?
From an animal.
Is an elephant an animal?
Yes.
Okay, even though it's not a cat?
Can you please show me how I evolved from an animal?
Even though it is not a cat.
Aron, an elephant is an animal.
Good. So what is the definition? What is the definition of what an animal is?
I'm not going to answer that question.
I think it's kind of important.
Would you like me to answer that question for you?
No, don't answer yet. But hey, how could G-Man?
It's a joke. You can't even answer the question. So I'll tell you what.
Okay. So I'll talk. Listen to me. I cannot yell, and I don't want to yell because I have roommates. But G-Man, you're asking a question about animals. I think it is important for you to have an understanding what that word means. Because there is specific meaning.
Okay,
let me finish.
I want to answer.
According to you, what do you mean by an animal? I know what an animal means by
what I mean by an animal. I would like to know how I should. You know what? Hold on a minute. I think a picture speaks for 1,000 words.
Oh God.
Like seriously, you people are so stupid. You don't even know what I'm talking about. This is an animal. I think you understand that this is an animal.
This is.
And so what? Do not ask me to come on here again. This show is a joke. I've been asking the same question over and over again, and nobody's giving me an answer. Okay? This is going on my channel. I want to know. Where's your evidence? I want to know where your evidence is.
Wait. Are you an animal? Let me ask you, G-Man. Are you an animal?
Can you please show me?
Are you an animal? Yes or no? Please answer.
From a animal.
Okay, sure. Your parents are animals. You're an animal. You evolved from them. There you go. Let's leave it at that. There you go.
Okay, great. So the claim is that my parents are animals.
Yes, your parents are animals. You're an animal. You're not a plant. Well,
now here's the thing: my mother and my father were human beings, which are very
human beings are animals.
Hold on a minute. I want to answer that stupid thing that you just said. My mother and my father were human beings. That is an observable fact.
Which are animals.
Let me finish. Which is in a wait a minute, hold on a minute. You guys are using an animal argument. I'm sorry, I wasn't even
an argument. It's a scientific fact.
You guys are using the animal argument. Aron Ra, is owning slaves a sin? I mean, is owning slaves
an animal argument?
Argument from an animal, yeah.
I want to see this conversation, so let's let this happen.
Answer my question, Aron. Is owning slaves immoral? Yes or no?
I'm getting alcohol for this shit. I'll be back in a second.
Is owning slaves immoral? Yes or no?
I'm sorry, what?
Is owning a slave immoral? Yes or no?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, I have a slave right here. Now, I'm an animal, according to you now. This is according to your ridiculous, stupid worldview, okay? I'm an animal that owns this animal. That means this is immoral, right?
Can you show me that either of you are animals?
Let the cat go.
E. McCrae and you just got finished arguing that since my parents were animals, I'm an animal, right? So I'm
how do you know that?
Issue. If owning a slave is immoral, according to your ridiculous worldview, then me owning this cat right here, would be immoral according to you. So here's the thing now. You say that it's immoral for a human being to own another human being.
Okay,
but it's not immoral for a human being to own a cat or a dog, and you're laughing. That's all you guys do is laugh.
No, you don't understand.
You're funny.
It's funny as shit.
You're like a clown, dude.
Okay, first of all, your cat doesn't meet the qualifications of a slave, obviously, because your cat isn't required to work at anything. All your cat has to do is be loved and patted on. But the funny thing is you put that cat, you thrust the cat right into the camera, and your cat made the weirdest fucking face.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, so it presupposes that my parents are animals without proving it. I bring up an argument and a point to show them how ridiculously.
But you didn't.
And their answer for my question was this: he, and ha ha ha. These pseudoscientists
don't forget
know what they're talking about. Not only is this going on my main channel, this is going on GTV too. Because you guys keep saying, and I quote,
special. The cat is adorable. I give you that. The cat is cute. The cat is cute.
I learned that he, and ha 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 is an answer. So you know what?
Man, this is why nobody likes to fucking talk to you. Okay.
Let's just do comedy here.
Breaking out the good shit tonight. I mean, this is entertainment right here. This is like corn.
I want G-Man to understand. We didn't just say he, and ha ha. We also said ho ho ho.
Yeah, forget the ho ho ho.
I said ha 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 a.
This is why I know.
I'm just kind of curious though, G-Man.
Here's the thing. Steve McCrae said that Ken Hovind lost on my phone. Based on my conversations with you guys in here, it shows me that didn't happen.
Well, actually, what I said, no, I didn't say. I didn't even. I did. Don't misquote me. Listen.
You think that you got a valid argument being 1% of the population, and also I like how you like to make all these excuses, Aron, talking about how dangerous religion is, while ignoring your own history. So if you want to sit there and laugh all you want, dude, I think it's funny that you believe that you're related to grapes, apples, and orangutans. I got all kinds of videos of people laughing at you guys because you believe that. There are little kids going to school laughing at you because you believe that.
Whoa, little kids laughing at you.
It's hard, Aron, to get intelligent design in our schools. And you want to know how close I'm getting? I am very close. Because none of you.
By the way,
you are like so close to like
all you can do is laugh.
G-Man, there needs to be a correction. G-Man, I don't like when people misquote me, especially private messages.
I don't like it when people misquote me. You've been doing that.
I never said. Well, let me quote. I didn't. This is what I wrote because I can say what I wrote. I never mentioned win or loss. What I said was Kent got utterly obliterated to the extreme. Okay, I didn't say he lost. I said Kent got utterly obliterated to the extreme.
Also, G-Man, the only way
debate, it was a discussion, and Hovind had no idea what the hell he was talking about.
G-Man, also,
you said he got utterly obliterated. Are you speaking for me?
G-Man, the only way, G-Man, the only way somebody can misquote you is if they're right. You're never right about anything.
You know what? I understand, Kyle, this is your room and whatnot, but if these people are
Kyle, what?
I know my YouTube rights, and I'm going to start using them.
How is this Kyle's room? Wait, how is this Kyle's room?
All you guys have been doing is laughing. And Steve, I shouted you out twice, dude. Okay? Don't make me change my mind, all right? Because I got no problem obliterating you. All right, so
this is hilarious. This is
I'm serious. You claim you want to have serious dialogue, and you're not like dragnutting those guys. Yet you're doing the same thing yourself right now.
First of all,
you
this
can't have a serious
Max,
dialogue.
shut the fuck up.
No, shut the fuck up. What's fucking wrong with you, man?
Yeah, I'm trying to say something, Max. You're trying
to.
Okay. So G-Man, listen to me very carefully. Okay, first of all, this is not Kyle's room. Okay, this is my channel.
Oh, this is your channel. So that means you have no excuse then.
This is the Great Debate Community channel.
Because you're supporting drama right now. You're supporting no.
Okay, I'm gonna mute you so I can get the fuck out and say this. G-Man, this is hilarious. This is comedy fucking gold. What you're saying, we have to laugh out because it's funny. You should be laughing with us because if you actually knew what the hell you were saying, you would think it's funny too.
You presuppose I don't know what I'm saying. You have I don't know what I'm saying. You are good at trying to read my mind without actually showing everybody. And I guarantee you, when me and my friends sit down and we actually look at this video, you know how many times you're going to show that you guys actually made a valid point in this room? Zero. Because I'm still waiting for the answer to my question.
And I answered it.
Answer my question. Evolution is a bedtime story for adults. You don't got any facts for me. You don't got no scientific evidence. What you got is, that's all you have. I'm being serious. If you want me to change my mind, you're going to have to get serious for 5 minutes and show me some evidence. If you can't, then guess what?
Can you let Aron go now? Okay, great. Aron, go ahead. You have the floor, please.
Thank you very much. And again, I still believe that G-Man cannot possibly be serious about this, but he's funny as fuck, and I give him full cred for being brilliant. But if we were going to pretend that the Poe is sincere for a moment, then the issue becomes, what is an animal? So please, G-Man, define what an animal is.
You want an honest discourse and civil conversation. He's asked a very simple question.
I would like for you to define to show me how I evolved from an animal.
Okay.
Reason why I'm not.
No, we're going to do this very formally.
Let me finish, Steve.
No, you don't get to finish. You don't get to finish because we're going to do this very formally. You do not answer a question with a question. He asked you a direct question. You want me to moderate? You want me to moderate fairly? I'm going to moderate and treat you like I do everybody else. He asked you a direct question. Give him a direct answer. Do not answer.
I'm not going to answer your question because that has nothing to do with what I'm asking you.
So you can't answer his question.
You and every evolutionist out there has made the claim that I share a common ancestor with a zebra, a donkey, and an orangutan. Not my claim, sir. It's yours.
Okay,
you have the burden to prove to me that evolution is true. You will hear this on Bring It Evolutionist later on how Aron Roth failed to show me how I'm related to an animal.
You don't know what an animal is. How can he show you anything?
You're right. I don't know what an animal is, but I also don't know what
you just said you don't.
That makes you a hypocrite, G-Man.
You just said you don't know what an animal is. You have no idea what an animal is.
I would like to know what his claim is.
Aron, do you think he knows what an animal is? Because I don't think he does.
It doesn't sound like it.
It doesn't sound like to me either. Now, I'll give you some conditions for an animal. Well, you tell me if you agree. And Aron's an expert on this, but okay. To be an animal, it has to be multicellular. Yeah. It has to be chemoheterotropic. It has to be able to not produce its own food supply.
Yeah, you do have to be. It has to have an internal digestive tract.
Internal digestive system.
It has to be made of a diploid eukaryote cells.
With a bilayer lipid layer for cells and a eukaryotic, and there's a bunch of other things that has to be. By the way, G-Man, didn't you argue one time?
A multicellular, what is it? A multicellular organism. That's your answer.
The simplest definition of an animal is a multicellular eukaryote with an internal digestive tract.
Okay,
That
great.
is motile. Motile.
So if that's an animal, then is it immoral for an animal to own another animal?
Somebody,
yes or no?
Hold on. Somebody just interjected that it must be motile. Why the necessity of being motile?
Yeah, this is just sad, man. One Christian in the room, bro. I gotta take on the whole room. Like this one dude. This guy's supposed.
We're arguing amongst ourselves.
All of you guys gotta help.
Yeah, actually, I think mobility
talk. Community, and you want to know what you got sad and weak? You guys look weak.
Generally
you guys look
speaking,
weak right now.
The adults are talking. Mobility, I believe, is actually a requirement.
The adults are talking, Steve.
Yeah.
But
mobilities.
I'll deal with you later, Steve. Fine.
Okay.
The adults are talking. All right, no problem.
Well, I mean, you want to have civil dialogue.
No. You said what you said, Steve.
Yeah. So okay. So great. So you want to have civil dialogue, but when we ask you intelligent questions, you fail to answer them.
Yeah.
Really? I choose not to answer a question.
Yeah. Let's talk.
That means like, okay, Steve, give me your address, Steve, and tell me where you live at right now. If you don't answer, you lose the debate.
Man, we're having an intelligent conversation,
Okay,
and I
so
want to actually
an intelligent conversation, and you know that there are certain questions that you're not going to answer. How then can you throw that at me and say that I'm not being an intelligent person?
Because you can't answer what an animal is. A child can answer that.
Okay,
I could have went on Google and got you the answer. There's a reason why I don't want to answer it. I want this man to make it.
No.
The answer is right here. I am not going to read it. Give me your argument.
All right, go ahead.
Or I'm gonna make it up for you.
Jesus Christ, we shut up, G-Man. Go ahead, Aron.
By definition, it does not need to be motile.
It depends on the definitions you use. I have seen mobility as a condition. Now, I don't think it necessarily has to. There are some organisms that lack the ability to be mobile on their own.
Yes, but sponges are still technically considered to be animals.
Yes,
they are not motile.
Because they lack the ability on their own.
And I agree with you regarding the animals to make my argument that what you just said was foolish. Okay, I asked you something and I noticed that you completely didn't answer it. You ignored it and you didn't want to deal with it. This will be on Evolution and Spring It later. Is it immoral for a human being to own another human being, which happens to be animals? I'm sorry. Let's just change that.
Finish one question first.
Is it immoral for an animal to own another animal, Aron? Yes or no?
The prejudice that I would have to admit to here is that I have a bias for intelligence. The higher the intelligence, the more rights the thing should have, which is why I have a huge moral dilemma with eating bacon.
Is it immoral for an animal to own another animal? Yes or no?
I want to say, the moral side of me wants to say that is immoral.
Okay, so in the Bible, human beings owned other human beings. You and other people on YouTube have claimed that that's an immoral act.
And it clearly is, yes.
Okay, so if I'm an animal and these other human beings are animals, how is it immoral, Aron?
Because you're a specific type of...
No. I want Aron to answer the question. Answer the question, Aron.
I did answer the question.
Yes, I didn't hear you. Steve was talking. Talk. Yeah.
I said it was immoral for animals to own other animals.
Oh, it is? Okay,
yes.
So I'm assuming you don't got a cat or a dog, and I'm immoral for owning a cat, right?
In a sense, yes.
Okay, why am I immoral for owning a cat, a domestic cat, Aron?
For the same reason that I am.
Okay, so here's the thing. What are the chances of survival of a domestic cat in the wild?
Oh, very good, actually.
They're very good. Tell me how, if I were to put this cat in a safari, what his chances of survival is.
Extremely good.
Tell me how.
Much better than your dog.
Much better than my dog.
Chicken would probably be a better example.
The first thing you need to understand.
No. I'm using my cat on purpose. I know what I'm doing here because I'm going to attack his evolution argument hard.
The first thing you need to understand about your cat and your dog is that both of them are super predators, or at least derived from super predators.
Yeah, they evolved from the cat family. You can actually demonstrate that. You can be proven that they're not related to dogs.
And they're both carnivores, and they're actually genetically linked, and you can prove that too.
Yeah.
But the thing is, the problem with dog derivatives is that we have managed to derive a number of dogs that don't perform well in the wild at all. So if you were to have, if everybody died and released all of their pets into the wild all at once, the dogs would probably quickly devolve into 4 different groups. Your bloodhound group, which would not include basset hounds and dachshunds, and you would have your pit bull terrier types, which would become the big hunters, and there wouldn't be a lot of like the Shih Tzu and all of those would become food items rather than predators. But cats, all of your domestic house cats, are the reason that the Great Britain right now no longer has any small wild animals because they have so many domestic cats. They kill off everything. So the domestic cat that we have has not been derived into some useless state like Yorkshire Terriers have been. So a lot of our dogs are pretty fucking useless and would be eliminated quickly in a wilderness situation where cats will do just fine.
Okay, so I want to make sure I got this straight. So dogs would be useless, but cats would be able to survive with a wild just fine. Okay. So with that being said, Aron, you just mentioned that if an animal owning another animal would be immoral.
What do you mean a human being and an animal?
I will say this again. If an animal owns another animal, you believe that's immoral, right?
Yes.
Aron, you ran for Congress, didn't you?
No.
Yeah, oh, I guess you did. Didn't you run for the Senate or something like that?
No, we didn't.
I ran for Senate.
Yeah, that's part of the
Congress, man.
So yes, it is. So,
state Senate.
So there's the House of Representatives and there's the Senate. That's considered the Congress. So anyway, that's why you lost. Anyway, so listen, Aron. So wait a minute, Aron. When a person breaks the law, Aron, when a person breaks the law, what should happen to that person?
That person should be punished in accordance with their crime.
And where should they be thrown?
What do you mean thrown?
Where should they be put? If I murdered somebody, what should happen? If I murdered somebody, where should I go?
Again, in accordance with their crime doesn't necessarily mean they should be thrown anywhere. But given murder, I would grant that under our current highly defective legal system, then you would be sent to jail.
Okay, so is jail slavery, yes or no, Aron?
No.
Oh, it isn't? Tell me something, Aron. What does the average inmate make as far as a wage goes when they're working in jail? I'm curious.
The fact that they make a wage at all is...
Aron, what is the wage that they make, Aron?
The fact that they make a wage at all proves that they are not slaves.
Aron, what is the living conditions in jail, Aron?
Paid for by the state.
What is the living conditions in jail, Aron?
What kind of answer would you expect me to give?
So, ladies and gentlemen, the reason why I'm asking this question is this. Okay, so it's wrong for an animal to own another animal, but it's not wrong for an animal to be thrown in a place where they're going to be owned by other animals.
They're not owned.
The jail is owned by other animals, Aron.
You're a hypocrite.
Aron, seriously, dude, you don't know what you're doing.
That's a level of dumbfuckery I didn't even think you would.
I'm not trying
to. Basic false equivalence I've ever heard.
I am just at a loss.
You know what? I don't need to finish. I got
level of
myself. It's all good because you got caught, Aron, and Steve knows it. The bottom line is this.
This is worse than you got bionic ants.
You just
Game over.
Okay, this argument isn't out of the blue.
That an animal should not own another animal, but if an animal, a human being, is thrown into a prison system which is owned by other animals, that's perfectly okay. In which
a prison is not an animal.
The wages are what 90% below minimum wage. You get like 20 cents an hour or something like that. Yeah, you know what I mean? They barely feed you above having scurvy. Don't even get me started with that. Are you listening to yourself?
Yeah, I am, and I'm listening to you too, and you are a lot funnier than me
right now, Aron. I have a question. And I got the papers to prove it. Now you're saying that the jail system is in a form of slavery.
Hello,
God, listen to me, dude. You just lost the entire African American voting system, and I'm gonna personally.
He's not running any longer.
I guarantee.
You need to get with the times.
That our modern day jails is not a form of slavery.
Calling G-Man.
Are you serious?
Hello, G-Man. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Aron. Yeah.
Okay.
Aron, stop talking down to me. I would appreciate that.
I've actually got a level of.
Stop talking down to me. You ain't nobody special. All right. So go ahead.
I have a level of admiration for you that I never expected.
I don't need you to have no admiration for me. I need you to be intellectually honest for once in your life. You just got finished saying that animals can't own other animals.
Okay.
Animals own the prison system.
We know what
people are treated.
These people what you said.
I have a question.
Heard what he
got
said.
More rights than people that are.
I'm still trying to ask a question.
Okay, great debate. Okay, great debate community. You want to mute me? Fine. I'll block you. You want to keep doing that?
I can still hear you, man.
You can't block anybody in here.
Well, tell him to stop muting me unfairly.
Well, let somebody talk, G-Man. Let him finish his goddamn sentence. Aron said 5 times. I'll mute you. I let Aron finish the sentence. Go ahead, Aron. If G-Man interrupts you, we'll mute
I
him.
only have one question still. I honestly do not ever remember ever speaking to G-Man, and now that I have spoken to him, I can't believe that I would have ever spoken to him before and not remembered this, because this was fucking funny as fuck.
It's comedy.
So as an African American in the United States of America, and since the
shut up, G-Man, let him talk.
I want to hear what he says about black people. You know,
Yeah,
black
actually, I think Aaron was done. Actually.
Okay, are you done, Aron?
No.
Okay, oh, he's not done. Okay.
No. I had a question.
Ask.
I want to get this question answered before he leaves.
Okay, I'll present him.
Okay, G-Man, can I relay this question to you, please? Can you hear me?
He's muted.
G-Man can't hear me.
I can hear you, and I was in the middle of a statement, and then I was unfairly muted.
That wasn't me. I didn't do it.
In the American community, here's the thing: how can you be a politician and not even care about what we care about?
First of all, you're not the only black person in here. Don't be racist against my little buddy.
I'm going to make sure of it.
Chucky, according to G-Man, you're not black enough for him, Chucky. What's up with that? You gonna let him talk to you like that, Chucky? You're not black enough for you.
Okay, Steve, why am I being presented to everyone, Steve?
I didn't present. I didn't do any of this.
Steve, you're doing this for views. I know why you're doing it.
I'm not doing shit.
Why am I presented to everybody? I'm not stupid. I know what you're doing.
I'm not doing this. I swear to God. I have not touched anything.
Okay, so I would like to point this out again. Aron Ra just got finished saying that at least they get a wage. So Aron Ra is not concerned about the people that are in prison and what they're being paid for the work that they're doing there. He is not concerned about the living conditions that is in prison. He is not concerned about how these people are being treated in these prison systems. He doesn't look at it as a form of slavery because the man is ignorant to what is going on in the prison system. But this man wants to try to argue that an animal cannot own another animal, but as long as it's a prison system, it's perfectly okay.
No, it's not perfect.
He's gonna come after you when I'm done with you, dude.
Can I have a moment to speak?
Sure.
You wasted enough of my time, sir. I'm done talking to you. If you only want to care about
I guess
go ahead and do it. The bottom line is, sir, you just expose yourself. All right?
I made a video where I talked about how
everybody sees this. Trust me.
Okay, I made a video where I talked about how unfair the disparity is in the prison system that we have, just in general to begin with, but also the disparity to which blacks are incarcerated over whites. As part of my political campaign, that was one of the platforms that I issued, that blacks are unfairly being incarcerated more often than whites, and that the prison system that we use is unfair and ridiculous to begin with and should be dispensed with. That was part of my political campaign. So I agree with G-Man on that point. But what I'm asking G-Man for right now is that I honestly, sincerely never remember speaking to you. And given the performance that you gave tonight, I can't believe that I've ever spoken to you before and didn't remember it. But I will offer you a formal apology if you can show me a link where I've ever.
I just gave you the link, Aron. It's in the side chat of it's Magic Sandwich Show number 88.
There was one? Okay.
October 2014.
I will go ahead and offer that apology. I sincerely apologize, G-Man.
No, you don't. No, you don't. You're being political right now, and it's all good. Don't worry. It's all good.
I sincerely apologize.
Real quick, G-Man.
Not mine. All right. So
G-Man,
say what you want.
Do you understand that he's not running any longer? He has no reason to be political. He's not running.
He's never running again. Neither will any other atheist. I
don't think he had intention of running again.
Ain't none of us voting for you guys. This is ridiculous. How can you?
Are you running for president?
In the prison system, and then try to argue that it's not a form of slavery. We all know it's a form of slavery. And then don't even get me started about how police officers are treating people in these urban communities. Don't even get me started. I'm trying to be serious with you, and you're laughing, and you're making fun, and you're doing all this stuff and whatnot. You can do that, Aron. See if an atheist
is there a way?
It ain't never gonna happen.
Is there a way that G-Man and I could speak without him constantly talking over me and actually have both of us conversations?
No, we tried.
You got to allow him to do that.
Is it possible to have a conversation in writing?
I know he'll yell there too. Actually,
because
you know what? This is.
I agree,
Steve. I don't want to talk to your president, Steve. Don't invite me to your non sequitur show. I don't want nothing to do with this program. Okay. Bottom line is, you guys are people on here so that you can laugh about us. I will put the word out there that this is another show so that you guys can laugh at Christians and laugh at us and then have serious conversation.
Can anyone hear me?
When you can't get nobody on your show, Steve, you don't understand why.
That's not going to happen.
Can anyone hear me at all?
That is the height of irony.
All you've been doing since I've been in here is laughing at me. You have not.
I'll tell you what.
You haven't had a serious conversation about nothing, and ain't nobody dumb enough to come on here and have a conversation with you guys. If this is how you're going to conduct yourself, this is
you don't even know where you're at, G-Man. This is not the non-sequitur show.
Right now. You are no better than Dragnut right now.
You don't even know where you're at right now. You didn't even know what hangout this was at.
You are no better than Dragnut. You cannot say a word about him anymore because you do the exact same thing.
I've not said a word about him in ages. I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm talking about the fact that he's into this drama, and you claim that you want to get
drama.
You want to have.
You say something funny and I laugh. I'm not allowed laughing at you.
That's all this was. You didn't teach nothing. You didn't refute anything that I said. You presupposed and you assumed, but you didn't prove anything.
Okay, well, hold on.
I
want to try to make it.
I said about you.
Go ahead, Aron. Try to. Go ahead.
Apparently, was right about something.
I was right about everything that I said in this room today.
G-Man was fucking stupid about everything he said about.
he got the thing about president right in his way. Sure,
right about one thing, but I was stupid about everything that I said.
Yes, for your entire career.
Do you think before you talk?
Yes, I do. Unfortunately, I'm the
popular atheist do a lot of this, dude. Y'all don't do a lot of that.
Can we get to the end of this? I have to concede. Other people whom I respect and whom I trust are telling me that I must be having some kind of a senior moment, but I have in fact talked to G-Man before, and I didn't remember this, and so I sincerely apologize. Other people have called me out. I'm wrong. I have spoken to G-Man before and did not remember this. My mistake.
4 different occasions. The first time that you did it was when I went on the Magic Sandwich Show.
Quantity, not quality.
You responded to me on I think Dragnut was the one that gave it to me. When you responded that the butt hurt is real, just recently. This wasn't even that long ago. This is about a month and a half ago when I made a video about you and that new little thing that you're doing where you're lying about the church and you're lying about God and everything and whatnot. And don't know what
I don't lie, so I'm a little confused.
Occasions where you actually responded to me, or you said I G-Man's not worth my time or whatever. But you know what? It's fine. I have said multiple times that if I ever talk to you, I will be wasting my time, and this is the proof.
Okay.
You don't know how to debate. Hello. People here that's praising you right now. They're laughing at you on TST when they were saying that you can't debate.
G-Man, you've got to let other people speak. This is the reason why people have a hard time having conversations with you. You don't shut up long enough for somebody to fucking respond. That's why we laugh. It's hilarious.
No, the reason you're laughing is you don't got no argument.
I laughed because the shit he said tonight was genuinely funny.
Genuinely funny. Sure.
That's right. Mormons are not Christians. I don't see what's so funny about that, Aron. Get an education.
Yeah, I obviously have an education.
No, you don't.
Raised as a Mormon myself.
No, you don't.
Not, so you don't. You're pig ignorant about your
subject.
No,
I'm not ignorant, Aron.
Okay.
I'll debate you on this, Aron, whether or not Mormons are Christians.
Okay. I'm trying to.
101, Aron. I'll debate you 101, Aron.
Hello.
You don't even know what the Bible says on this matter.
G-Man, take a fucking breath. Let the man say something for God's sake.
Okay. Are you going to run like your boy is?
I was trying to concede that apparently I had made a mistake, and I want to openly admit that as quickly as possible.
Done fucked up, Aron. Yeah.
Yeah, I did. I spoke to G-Man apparently multiple times, and I don't know why he wasn't memorable. Tonight was fucking memorable. I don't know how I'm forgetting this.
Try to embarrass Christians. This is a show to try to embarrass Christians. You have exposed yourself long term. This is going to hurt your program here.
This has nothing to do with Christianity. I'll tell you this. I'm gonna let you a little secret, G. I have been in touch with numerous members that are very prominent Christians.
Oh, don't worry. I'll be getting in touch.
Let me finish what I'm saying. They think I'm more Christian than you at the moment.
They do? Name one.
I'm not going to name names.
Name one.
I'm not going to name names. You know me better than that.
What you just said was a lie then. So moving on now.
Okay, I'm sure I might be lying about it, but people, I can tell you right now. I can tell you right now.
That you're more Christian.
I can tell you right now that there are people out there in the community that do not consider you Christian right now.
Okay, and I know that people consider people. There are people out there that don't think I'm a Christian. But when I did a call out video,
so is it a far stretch to think that? Is it a far stretch for them to say that they're saying that you're not Christian? Is it really far of a stretch for them to think that I'm slightly more Christian in some ways than you are?
I'm going to say this again. Listen to me. One of the people that, you know what, Steve, since you want to go there, Steve, listen. One of the people that don't believe I'm a Christian is faithful to God. Now you're saying that faithful to God is the one that's saying that you.
I didn't. No, I did not say that.
Well, then who is it?
I've only spoken to faithful to God one time that I'm aware of. No,
faithful to God. Fiona's not saved, so it ain't Fiona. Don't count. You talking about the spackle? Who are you talking about? You guys been doing this all night. You have been making claims without backing it up. They don't work that way. Prove your point.
I smell hypocrisy.
I give up.
I'm gonna.
You win, G-Man. You win.
This ain't about winning and losing. Steve, let me show you what you texted me here, Steve.
Okay, I'm gonna say goodnight to everybody.
Yeah, it's about time, man.
So,
see you later, Aron. See you later.
See you, Aron. It was good talking with you.
Yeah, I want to meet you, Aron.
All right, see you, Aron.
Yeah, I want to thank you for Steve. I think it is.
Yes, it's Steve.
Yeah, who hosted this, because we got into an argument about philosophy once upon a time and recently, I think, and
yep.
I hate arguing philosophy because I've just only ever seen it misused.
I was a casualty in that argument. You blocked me.
Yeah, I get so disgusted with it because the way that I've seen it, I actually have a good deal of respect for philosophy. I think it's something that should be taught in high school because I think people could have a much better grasp of how to understand whether you understand something. I really do think that's the case, but because I've seen it so grossly misused within the religious community, I've just lost all taste for it. It's kind of like a food you can't eat anymore. So I want to thank you for having me on and for changing my perspective on you as a person, so that I don't have this animosity anymore. G-Man hasn't changed my perspective at all, other than to say that I actually have a higher review of him than I previously did because I still think he's full of shit.
he's entertaining. G-Man is entertaining. Absolutely.
When did I come in this room, and when did I say that my goal was to change your mind?
Yeah, you changed my mind about you, but then I had no previous memory of you, so it's
I have so much gold in this Google Hangout. It's not even funny. So Aron. So let me get this straight, Aron. I came in this room to try to change your mind. I came in this room to rebuke you.
I don't know what the fuck you're.
He's leaving, G-Man. Let the man say his goodbyes.
Thank you all for hosting the event tonight. That was great fun.
You.
I can't wait till the next one.
And I'm glad that we've had our talk today. I think we have great understanding now. I don't use philosophy as a weapon. I'm an interest in it, but I think that before we kind of talk past each other. But the fact is, two intelligent people like us can have conversations and work past that and actually come to an understanding. I don't know what the hell G-Man's talking about 95% of the time, but there's a few things he gets right, and I think it needs to be.
Yeah, it's an important thing. The things that G-Man and I agree on, with regard to the prison system, for example.
Yeah, I think that's right too. Actually,
yeah,
I do think that black people are.
That if we have a common problem, then we can throw aside whatever other differences we have and maybe solve that problem we both have. That would be my preference.
I would love that. See, that's something that I would foster. I agree with you as well. I think that there is a higher
later, guys. That's why I let you know that.
Okay. I think there is a higher propensity of blacks that do get incarcerated, not only more often, but for longer sentences for the same crime.
Are you in Texas?
No, I'm in California.
Yeah, Texas is notorious for that.
Oh, I know it's worse.
We have the worst reputation in the entire country for that.
Oh, I totally believe that. Absolutely. And I think that's something that, G-Man would probably have a good discussion with.
I would never vote for an atheist. It was a colossal waste of time. They don't listen to Christians. They don't know how to answer questions.
So even if he agreed with you on the whole prison thing,
I will never support voting for an atheist. It will never happen.
That's weird.
Man, I want you to understand.
Only want to hear what they want to hear. And when we talk about the things that we care about, it goes into this ear and out the other one.
Except when I agree with you. As I am right now, I'm agreeing with you right now. Okay, so it's not going in one ear and out the other. And I would rather be shown to be wrong if I am wrong than to continue to be wrong.
And by the way, G-Man, talk to ask the question real quick.
Mormonism is Christianity. And I show why it's not. I asked legitimate questions. Most of my questions were not answered. Okay. And you got laughed at for an answer. Yeah,
you want to hear something funny? This Christianity. Something funny before Hey, G-Man, is Texas on the West Coast? Yes or no?
Listen, Steve. Let me ask you a question, Steve. Did you get a job yet?
You a question.
I can answer questions too. Listen to me, Steve. Did you get a job yet?
I can't answer. I can't ask a question with a direct answer.
You need to stop it.
So the question is by Hogtie. He wants to know. He wants to know if California and Texas are both on the West Coast, because I know California is, but you said that Texas is on the West Coast.
Get a job yet? Is Steve McRae get a job yet? I have two of them.
This is my job. Do you think that?
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
You think Texas? Yeah, Kyle and I, we work at this. We worked hard at it. Matter of fact,
I'm glad you worked hard.
Hard to put together the thing tonight. So G-Man, is
serious.
Texas on the West Coast?
So I'm gonna say this again.
Okay, so you don't know what an animal is, and you don't know where Texas is.
You come on here so you can try to embarrass them. You want this to be another drunk Steve. That's what you want this to be.
Steve, while G-Man is still here, is it okay to ask him what we talked about earlier this evening?
Which was one? I mean, refresh my memory.
I dropped G-Man's name in a previous discussion we had earlier this evening.
Oh, for the show?
Yes.
Oh, fuck, go for it.
G-Man. You hear me?
I just want to let everybody know that the Block Fest is about to start. Go ahead, Aron.
I have invited you.
You don't. But you're about to experience it in a minute. Go ahead. I know
what am I going to experience in a minute?
In a minute. Go ahead.
The fuck are you even talking about?
No, let's listen. Ask me a question. If it's a question that's not intended for you to laugh at me, I'll answer your question. If it's a question to be condescending and to show your satanic side even more than you already did, I am not going to answer.
I'm not satanic. I'm not young enough or pretty enough, and I can't afford the clothing.
I believe that you worship the devil. And I also believe that the only people that should have long hair like that is a woman. But go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
Oh my God! No.
I think everybody should have long hair. That's just But regardless,
this is an atheist hangout. Of course, y'all also believe bestiality is okay. So go ahead.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
What?
No. Wait a minute. You just said that you're an animal. So
that's right.
Another animal. That would be, I'm sorry, bestiality is not even a thing.
So
animals wouldn't be bestiality.
Okay, so if a shark eats a trout, is that cannibalism?
According to your evolutionary theory, it is, because they're related.
Yeah, wait, did Jesus have long hair? Wait, I got a question.
According to Christianity, no, because we don't believe in that stupidity.
Did Jesus have long hair?
God created everything. And we believe that there's more evidence for that than your
G-Man, did Jesus have long hair?
I'm not going to answer no more of your dumb questions. You guys
have long hair. All right, you don't have to answer. Heretic woman, you're familiar with the Bible probably more than you do than G-Man knows.
I am.
So so in your expertise, because G-Man doesn't want to answer because maybe he doesn't know this about the Bible. Did Jesus have long hair?
Absolutely.
Okay, so Jesus was a woman.
That's right.
Ladies and gentlemen,
and he wore a dress. And he wore a dress too.
Not me. Not that Jesus had long hair. Not me. He doesn't know the argument for the Hebrew Israelites. He don't know how dumb he sounds right now. But it's
all right. So I think Aron's been trying to ask you a question for 10 minutes and he derailed it.
You guys have long hair.
Man. Hello. Have I got your attention? G-Man, can you hear me? G-Man, acknowledge that you can hear me, please.
I'm in the middle of doing something, Aron. This is pretty important. My brother's on TV right now, so shh. Thank you. Oh, that's right. I'm lying about that, ladies and gentlemen.
I never implied you're lying. I just
tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. And for those of you who live in New York, go check out Jay Leno. Just go check that out. But anyway, these morons on here like laughing at people without getting the facts straight. So let them do that. So go ahead.
Okay,
stupid. Go ahead.
Is it so important that I can't ask you a really quick question? Only takes 10 seconds.
I believe that atheists are intellectually.
Wow.
Point and listen to me. This is all I learned today. What did I learn today? Hanging around you pseudoscientists. This is what I learned. He, and ha, ha, ha.
Okay.
I learned nothing today.
He-Man.
I learned nothing today. When I'm around true empiricism, I learn a lot. Nothing from you guys.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I have a question. I've been given clearance to ask you this question.
Ask the question.
Okay.
Aron. I got this rule, bro. I don't tolerate trolling. I'm going to block you in a minute.
He's trying to ask you a question.
And I don't care if you don't like it. I will block you. And Steve, you're also next. Seriously.
Okay, G-Man, I have invited you. I nominated you to moderate my next discussion with Kent Hovind.
He really did. He's not lying. He really actually did.
He's ignoring me.
G-Man can't even. He's just lost it.
So anyway, I challenge Aron Rod to a debate.
I thought you were gonna block him.
I challenge Aron Rod to a debate on Christianity versus Mormonism, and Aron Rod has not given me an answer. Aron Rod believes that Mormonism is Christianity. Aron Rod is confident.
Do not listen at all.
Thank you very much for a really fun evening.
Go, Aron, go.
Thank
Aron,
you also.
go. I can't take it. I can't take it, Aron. I can't go.
Good night, Aron.
Hog Tie, good to talk to you again.
We'll catch up. Yeah, we'll see you. Have a groovy evening.
Good night, everybody.
It's like complete tunnel vision here.
This is what happens. Not go to their hangouts. This is what happens.
Oh my god.
I am dying.
TST 2.0.
This was the greatest night ever.
This is TST.
G-Man, thank you so much. This was, you have no idea. This was the funniest.
Steve, you can't call my phone no more.
I don't. That's fine. I don't care.
Yeah, that's
it's hilarious.
And when I go on my YouTube channel a little bit later, I'm going.
Oh my god!
Now listen, all you did on this show today, Steve, was laugh, and I heard what you said about Dragnet. I heard what you said about these other atheists online. Okay, I didn't forget that. I also read the document.
I've never said people. I've never chastised anybody for laughing at dumb shit.
All you did on this show was laugh at me, and I know how you feel about Dragnet.
Watch this video. It is fucking hilarious.
Then you're gonna see the real laugh, dude. You're gonna see the real laugh.
G-Man, I just want to say something. G-Man.
Excuse me. Sorry.
I haven't slept for 18 hours.
Oh,
okay. I'm running on 3 cups of coffee, and I understood and listened to what Aron said. This is an honest question. Please answer this.
Ganesh,
actually
are you
have any problems listening to people?
Are you an atheist or you're a Christian?
Let him ask his
Why
question.
Is that
He's a guy trying to ask you a question.
Ask your question.
I'm going to ask you a general question. Answer this first. Let me ask the question, and then you can speak. Okay?
Yeah. Great.
Okay. I'm asking you honestly. Do you have any problems listening to people?
Okay, so I'm gonna say this again.
Actually listening to what they are saying.
There's your answer.
I'm not going to answer your question because all you're doing is laughing at me. Do you understand the words that just came out?
I just came in. I just came in.
Laughing.
So with that being said, this community is a joke. You guys are.
No, you don't even know me. How are you not part of the community?
One-on-one tuition to learn
about.
Yo, Ganesh.
Have we talked before?
What are you guys?
Have we talked before?
You want to give me a
10-second trigger?
Listen, G-Man, for fuck's sake, listen. Have we talked before? Have you ever heard me saying anything bad about Christianity?
You're not listening to a word that comes out of my mouth. I already told you I'm not answering none of your questions. You are going to tell me whether or not you're an atheist or you're a Christian. If you don't, I don't want to talk to you.
I'm neither.
Okay, great. Then there's no point in me talking to you then. Great. I want a straight answer. I want a yes or I want to no. I'm a Christian.
I am neither.
Said no.
Give her a straight answer. How much more straight can you get?
What is the answer?
So what are you?
I'm raised a Hindu. So neither is the straight answer.
Yes.
So Ganesh, what are you? Ganesh, what are you?
I was raised a Hindu. I'm an agnostic now.
Okay, great.
He's like me.
So you believe that you can't know whether or not God exists?
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. How many times have you read the Bible?
I would say about 3 times.
Okay. So if you read the Bible 3 times, how does the Bible say that you can know God?
I don't care.
Great. You're not agnostic. You're a liar. Ask your question.
No, I don't care.
No, if you don't care, then this is a waste of time me talking to you then. It's a waste of time me talking
I don't care.
Damn it, Ganesh.
You don't care about the Bible, therefore you're a liar.
I don't care. That's my answer for you.
G-Man.
Oh, for fuck's
Listen.
Maybe we
Let
should
me finish,
have
okay?
come in here and
I'm
talk
not going to answer
G-Man.
that question until you answer mine.
Great.
Okay?
I don't care.
You asked a question. I answered.
I don't care.
No, you asked a question. I answered. G-Man, listen. You asked a question. I gave you a honest, straightforward answer.
Okay.
I'm expecting the same from you. So unless you can demonstrate that, I don't care is going to be my answer.
Okay, great. I can demonstrate it.
Okay, fine. Do you actually have any problem listening to people?
I don't care.
And listening to what they're saying.
Answer. I don't care is my answer.
That is his answer.
By the way, I don't care is my answer. That's how you talk to me. That's how I'm gonna talk to you back. You're gonna get treated the way you treat me.
The Geek Room,
Dude,
please take
did you even listen to what I said?
I don't care. That's my answer.
Geek Room.
I don't care.
Hey, come on, guys, hang on. The Geek Room, please take this video and use it advantageously to help your channel. Just do it. Just do it. I mean, we cannot let this go to waste. This was the second greatest hangout of my life. It's probably, we just had the best one with Aron and Hovind, which is amazing. But this has got to be a close second. Seriously.
No, I still vote that the first time that Edgar came in would have been the best.
You have a fascination with Edgar for some reason, though.
He is fascinating.
Everybody can have their preference, doesn't matter.
Edgar?
Quite probably, yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Is Edgar still around?
Not as much.
Did you watch Edgar and Hovind have that? It was hilarious because Hovind even got to the point where he said, "I'm out of here. Fuck this.
Fuck this. I'm out."
Yeah.
Shit. Someone's got to give me the
I
link
asked
for
about
that.
10 questions in here today, and all I got was laughing. I would like to know, does anybody here know anything about the topics that I talk about in here? Anybody?
We're gonna all say no.
Yes, we do.
Of course you don't.
The problem is you don't listen. The problem is you don't listen.
I could have became an evolutionist tonight. Instead, you know what happened? I heard. But you know what?
Come on. Wait.
And I proved to say I was open-minded. I wanted to talk about it, and I got
You haven't demonstrated shit tonight. I'll be honest. You haven't demonstrated shit tonight.
Yes, God, I'll get to
But you guys don't know what you're talking about.
Conversation where 85% of the voices in this hangout is G-Man.
Yeah.
G-Man, you have to realize you never
no
shut
one
up.
thinks you're sincere.
Yeah, you don't seem like you never shut up long enough to listen to an answer.
We got a crazy Looney Tune out there in Korea that wants to come out here and kill everybody. So please stop talking about Christians like we're the enemy when you guys got nuclear.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What?
An hour and
How did
40
that
minutes.
segue there?
Joseph Stalin killed 25 million.
Right,
Don't
wait.
sit there and talk to me about what Christians do and ignore what you do.
I want to ask you.
Wait.
Don't even get me started. That's stupidity.
That doesn't make any sense.
Don't go down it. Don't go down it. I want everybody to do me a favor.
No.
Right now, whoever you are, whatever you're doing, stop what you're doing. I want you to look down on the ground and make sure that you're still on fucking planet Earth. I don't think I fucking am at this point.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, Steve invited me in here. Steve told me that they was chilling with Aron Raw. Steve's real.
We were. Yeah.
We were, and then it turned into a shit show.
Laugh at me. That was his entire goal.
There was no intention to come in here. That was never an intention.
I'm gonna show you. You see the public Steve McRae. I'm gonna show you the fake private Steve McRae later on. You're all gonna see it soon. So guys,
no, G-Man.
Shut up.
G-Man. Yeah, I just want to clarify something.
Ganesh,
be quiet.
You're behind. So go ahead.
Hang on. Yeah. So let me get this straight. I'll be happy to show my private messages to you because they're my messages. I'm allowed to show my messages. But you're saying now that you're going to disseminate my private messages to you?
No, what I'm going to say is this. I'm going to say that you are being nice to people in private so that you can get them on this show so you can laugh at them.
I'm nice to you in private as I'm nice to you on air when you actually are listening.
You represent this entire community. And if they support you, I got every last one of you.
So let me
tell you something. You ain't talking to empiricism.
I have no idea what the hell he's talking about.
When you guys
make this clear.
On you, I'm gonna stay on you.
How did true empiricism even come into this discussion?
I have no idea. This is what I'm saying. I don't know what planet I'm on right now. This is not Earth.
Listen to me, Steve. Listen to me. I understand you need money, bro, and you got to get views to get your money. Let me know that before I come on the show, though.
Hey, quick question.
I don't like being the object that you're laughing. This is why I don't come to your hangouts now.
Doesn't true empiricism have long hair? Does anybody know?
Oh, damn.
Yes, he does. Beautiful long hair. He has like the best hair I've seen. All right. Anyways,
okay, real quick interjection here, guys. Hold on. I got a message.
Guys, I ain't kicking myself.
He's had his meltdown.
They're gonna throw me out in a minute. Watch this.
Pissing his pants.
Okay.
Time for him
to
go.
Guys. Can I just request something?
1 second, Ganesh.
Okay, go ahead.
Point of order, and this is a moderation point of order. G-Man has just blocked Hogtie Champ in this. Should he just out for blocking the panel?
Well, he'll drop now because he's blocked everybody, so he'll just drop out of the conversation.
Okay.
How many people has he blocked so far?
Well, he blocked. Here's the stupidest thing. He blocked me. Wait. He blocked me, and I'm streaming, which means that nobody can fucking hear him.
Right. He blocked the GDC. So bye.
Oh, so he. Wait. He blocked.
He's just blocking all of us now.
He's blocked everybody. So he's
everybody.
Yes,
there's 3 people in here as the GDC.
He blocked me.
Why did he block me?
Why
did he block me? I have no idea. I didn't even say anything.
He's being a dick. That's why.
It's just a
This
generalization.
is literally like, I mean, I've spoken to him for 2 minutes.
He is having a grade A temper tantrum, is what he's doing.
Can you hear him still? Like who can still hear him? He's not going through on the.
Block everybody.
As soon as he mutes the Great Debate Community, he basically drops out of the hangout.
What's funny though is it? Well, he's still in here. I mean, I've just got the symbol showing that he's got me blocked. But if he blocks you, Steve, that means nobody can hear him because he's still talking. He does this all the time. I bet you he's sitting there screaming at his computer.
Got no bloody clue.
Dave,
nobody can hear him.
Dave, we could just eject him.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
No.
I'll leave it there. I'll leave this.
No. Keep him there. Keep him there.
Let him say. Okay.
Theoretically, he's just having a meltdown about how we're all laughing at him, basically.
But the problem is him being an idiot doesn't necessitate us acting like, let him block us. If he wants to stay, he can stay. So fuck that.
And here's the thing: the whole point of getting him in here was Aron had asked me the other day to get G-Man in, and I had asked him if he could join. He said he was busy. It was fine. I have told G-Man he can have good conversations, and I actually really expected him to come in and have a nice, polite, honest conversation like he had with Shannon. And he turned into a total shit show, and I'm like, and I'm the one to blame for this.
Well, he has trouble. He has trouble in the bigger rooms when you get more than just one-on-one or just a couple of people. He's really raw. He gets itchy, and he just he has his meltdown. I mean, that was which we have too many people.
He's got trigger people
that's fair. That's fair enough. But he was having a conversation just with Aron, and he wasn't even listening to what Aron said. And what he said was funny. What am I supposed to do? Not laugh?
It was pretty bad. And you know what? I came in and things. I didn't even address him, right? I mean, I made the little snide comment about how he was throwing out, just dismissing John chapter 3 as unimportant. I know he didn't like that, but that's what he was doing. But the thing is, this time I came in, I sat on my hands. I didn't even unmute. I said one sentence. Versus luxurious hair. And
it was the key statement that did it.
Yeah,
it's not even what you say, Hogtie.
So can everybody blame Hogtie now instead of blaming me?
It's not even what you say, Hogtie.
This is totally his fault.
It's you.
Yeah, this is
Hogtie's fault.
It's you, Hogtie. It's just your face.
Yeah, but Hogtie, you get all dressed up, can't take you anywhere, man. There's all that shit you bring with you.
What have you done?
That was a beautiful and brutal moment.
It was.
You know what the worst part was? I actually wanted to have a honest conversation with G-Man. Like
so
I've been
waiting.
He's still talking.
Yeah, I've been waiting for like 2 or 3 months. I've been pretty much a lurker for a long time, so I wanted to have a honest conversation with him. So it was like, at this point, no, I don't think so.
All good, Ganesh. You'll have another chance to be in a hangout with him when he's a little more calm. He will forget that he has ever met you.
Yeah,
and forget that he had this abrasive thing. He was in a shit mood. Off he goes.
See, that's the difference.
How's that even going to work? How's that even going to work in the future, considering he's blocked all of us?
It's just
that's the difference.
No, just for the hangout. It'll reset.
Oh, just the hangout?
Yeah.
That was the ignore. He didn't block. That was just the in hangout ignore. The next hangout he's in, it won't apply. I also noticed too, that's the G-Man. That wasn't his account. That was or not any of his regular accounts. G-Man versus Israelites. Yeah.
Jane West. And thank you, Ben, for the super chat there.
I just literally feel as if I need to go out and buy a hell of a lot of noise insulation stocks. Either that, or G-Man is literally getting noise pollution violations all over the place. It's like freaking what 1 a.m. for you guys over there.
Well, he's in New York.
It's
9 here.
It's 12:30.
12:26 New York time. Yeah.
So in any case, I wouldn't be surprised if like 2 streets down, they can still hear this guy screaming.
My co-host was watching, and she's never seen G-Man before. She's just like, does he like always yell like that? Like, yeah, it's totally normal.
I would like to say this is my first time I actually talked to G-Man, sort of been in the same hangout with G-Man. Pretty enlightening.
Because there's something funny. He's not always like that.
So he's not always
Part
like
of the reason
that.
why Aron doesn't remember, well, the major reason why Aron doesn't remember is because Aron talks to so many people, and he talks to so many people that think they can take him down a peg. So if you say to Aron, "Oh, there's this radical evangelical that wants to talk to you," and then he's like, "Oh, which guy? Oh, the guy who wants to take you down a peg." Doesn't narrow it down a bit, right? Because he's got so many of them. So this is October 2014. This is going to sound like I'm starting a long story. It's not a long story, but 2014. So G-Man had been talking to DPR Jones. DPR Jones is a bit of, you want to call him G-Man whisperer. Because if you notice, when DPR is in the room, G-Man doesn't have a meltdown like that. DPR's got a way of sort of keeping him on track. And so we get him into, okay, we can get on the Magic Sandwich, but DPR told him ahead of time, look, this isn't a blow up thing, right? Like, you understand, you're going to be calm. We're all going to take turns. And when G-Man came in, you might remember, for people who'd seen that episode 88, DPR had also kind of reminded the group that we're not gonna wig out. The other thing that happened was Aron and I both had something to do that day. So we said in the pre-show, we had to leave at the 2-hour mark. But True Empiricism showed up an hour and a half late for a 2-hour show. So we ended up having to extend it. But what's funny about it is that in the week before, like Aron was sort of getting a little busy with his time and kind of pulling back a little bit. And I talked to him about 3 times on Skype that week. I said, look, I know this G-Man guy. It's going to be funny. It's going to be cool. He's going to say some crazy shit. You're going to have a good time. So I talked him into it. And then about, I don't know, a month afterwards, like G-Man and True Empiricism had hangout after hangout after hangout for 3 weeks where they just whined and sobbed about that episode. And about about a month later, I said something to Aron about, oh, that G-Man and True Empiricism is going up. He goes, who's G-Man? So there's kind of this running joke amongst those people that like, how many times I've said to Aron, like, oh, something G-Man did, whatever. He goes, who's G-Man? So I found it really funny that tonight he was insisting that, no, I don't ever remember talking to G-Man.
He's not going to forget him after the night.
He's not
tonight. It will get traction tonight for sure.
Yeah, it'll get traction.
But that's part of the reason. I'm just making the point. That's part of the reason why he doesn't remember. G-Man I'm having a calm conversation tonight. No,
I'm literally hoarse. I have not laughed that hard. You've never seen me that hysterical. That was absolutely a riot.
I was about to go ham as a moderator on him, but Steve's like, don't you dare.
I was like, don't you fucking dare, dude. This is a comedy gold.
I'm just curious if Aron's
into the hangout.
I'm just curious if Aron's going to call Dillahunt. He says, I just talked to this dude named G-Man. Like, where the heck have you been?
You told me about him before.
Dillahunt remembers him. That's true, yes.
Dillahunt knows him well.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
Well, that's the other thing that's happened. Dillahunt has said to Aron about stuff about G-Man, and then Aron's going to look, who's G-Man? And I've had to say, no, like this, you know him. But.
Well, it's just such a shame because I really thought G-Man was going to have a nice conversation with Aron. I really was inviting him in, going, "Hey, Aron has been asking to talk to you. Hang on." And I said, why don't you come on in and chill with us? I'll show you what I wrote him. I'm like, I'm chilling with Aron. Come on in, hang out with us, right? And he came in here with like guns blazing, trying to take Aron down. And it's like, what the fuck, G-Man? We just invited you to come hang with us. That was it.
There is no such thing as a civil conversation with G-Man.
It was
bizarre. I mean, even with his own gang, he's actually having a civil war now.
Right. But you said 2 different things there. It's not possible to have a civil conversation with him. There are plenty of civil conversations with G-Man, on air, off air. You talk to him anytime. He can be a very honest and genuine fellow. As soon as he starts to get a rub, like he feels he's being attacked, he lashes out, and he lashes out like a crazy fucker. And it's just hilarious random stuff. And yeah, the blow up he's having with his group now, this is like the 4th or 5th group on YouTube in the 4 or 5 years he's been here, the 4th or 5th group that has Matthew 18'd him into no fellowship, right? But that's because as soon as he feels even slightly attacked, the slight little bit of correction, and he feels attacked, he lashes out at everybody. Ganesh just showed up and he got yelled at.
Well, it's Ganesh. We all do that with Ganesh.
I've not met Ganesh. Is Ganesh an asshole?
Yeah,
no.
Is he?
No.
Okay.
No, Ganesh is
I can be whatever you like. I don't care.
Okay.
He's
really chill.
He sounds nice. It was a reasonable question.
Everybody goes to shit, right?
Well, I reckon Ganesh is kind of he knows how to absorb that kind of shit. I remember the one when he was in with Rose Pat in that room.
Yes,
Oh,
I was
really?
there for that. Oh, fuck.
That was Rose Patton. Yeah, she was giving that to him. She was just saying, well, literally just spouting expletives all over the place.
Well,
And
that's
Ganesh
kinda
was
what she
saying,
does.
"Yeah, fuck me. Come on, let's do it."
At that point, what else can you do? Come on, you just gotta laugh, or you just gotta take it in the stride. I'm used to taking it in the stride.
Warning: atheists are using Christians for views and to make money.
Yeah.
I don't know why everything with him boils down to Christianity. We have Christians coming here all the time. I have no issues with Christian community. Matter of fact, when I was telling him that there are some people that think I'm more Christian than he is, it's the truth. And I'm not trying to matter of fact, if you really want the truth, I actually stood up for him the other day to not stood up, but I actually wrote something to Faithless, kind of in favor of G-Man, at least, helping him out a little bit, and Surreal. And it was kind of weird because it wasn't them that have said this, but other people have actually thought that, I do have more of a Christ-like mentality than even G-Man does. And few people have said it on air. I know Han Solo has, Wayne Fillmore. It's like, he doesn't seem to understand that this is not a channel where it's atheist versus Christianity. It's people talking and having dialogue. And when we try to incorporate him on the dialogue, like when we're talking about animals, he just loses his shit. And I don't understand why. It makes no sense to me.
See, that is a problem. No, I think G-Man's core problem is he actually doesn't listen to what the other person is saying.
I'm sorry, what'd you say? Okay.
I think
this is the same conversation been going on for years.
Oh yeah, but you're right, Ganesh. You're totally right.
I had to laugh at Ganesh's question because Ganesh just said that sort of the most briefest words of introduction. Sorry, I think sorry to interrupt there, but you said the most briefest words of introduction, and then you said, "And I have a question for you." And my question is, and then G-Man just interrupted, and he clearly wasn't listening, which I thought was hilarious. But then your question was, "Do you listen, or do you have trouble listening?"
Yeah.
And you couldn't even get the levels of irony. It just hurt my brain.
I mean, I'm not even gonna say that. Okay. His question was, "Are you a Christian or are you atheist?" I said, "I'm neither." So he went off on a rant. He went off on a rant, and then I had to stop and explain to him, I was raised a Hindu, so I'm an agnostic now, so I am neither. That is the actual answer. Yeah. I'm not avoiding your question.
Yeah, he called you a liar for saying neither.
Yeah.
Hey, because I'm joining this hangout, is my check gonna clear? Because I'm making money apparently, so I was going to double check.
Yeah, by the way, I haven't received my check yet, Steve.
Yeah, I don't want to
get fucking paid, okay?
Hey, Steve, it's my birthday. I get a bigger check, eh?
Yeah, oh wait, by the way, Paula Gia wants to know if this is worth rewinding to listen to. Everybody has to say yes or no right at the same time. 1, 2, 3.
Yes. Absolutely.
Yes. I said no.
This is people have been saying this is the greatest hangout ever. oh my god, I'm dying.
Just make sure that
I've been lucky enough to moderate 2 of those.
Freaking riot.
I don't even drink, and I'm thinking of going out and grabbing a beer after that shit.
But yeah, the level of irony. You're sitting there trying to ask him if he could listen to a question, and he's just not able to do it.
No.
And did you guys hear what Aron said? Did you guys listen to? Did you guys listen to the question Aron wanted to ask him? Aron had asked him, "Will you help moderate the next debate with Hovind?"
That was weird. That's not even the worst part. He tried to ask that for 15 minutes while he kept interrupting him and thinking he was going to ask something entirely different.
I know.
Yeah, I just gotta say to Apologia, don't use the DVR. Watch the whole thing. You need context.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Killer Fighter says, Steve,
I'd definitely grab a 12-pack.
This has been the funniest thing. I've never laughed this hard since Rhetorics and Beatty's staying out. That was pretty funny too.
Yeah, the PVR function works only. So I'm reading Eric. The PVR function works for only the most recent 2 hours. So you actually wouldn't be able to catch the entirety of this G-Man meltdown.
No.
Was it not?
It's 4 hours.
It's gone past that. I think that.
Oh, the PVR. Oh, okay. Well, still, the point is, G-Man, it's a pretty long melt. His endurance is improving for his meltdowns.
And I gotta tell you, apologies. You better have alcohol. I mean, you're not gonna be able to listen to that sober. It's just.
Just do what Aron.
Shit.
Just get a bottle.
Yeah.
Just do it straight, man.
Yeah. You know, one of the things
I've had this for like 3 months now. I still haven't finished it.
If I can toss an observation about part of what sets off the G-Man meltdowns, especially when sometimes you see why he's a little upset, but then sometimes it's like, what? Why is he just so explosive?
I think I know why he gets upset. He's expecting an answer, something in his brain, which he thinks is the only right answer.
Yeah.
But
well, in any conversation, calm or
Jay.
fiery, he has trouble sort of tracking the conversation. But when he's calm, you know, he misunderstands questions or he guesses what he thinks you're going to say. That's fine. I'm saying about this level of emotionality where he's having this meltdown, or like more recent, the supernova meltdown that he had related to Shell Squad or whatever the fuck they're called. I know it's Shield Squad, but the major thing is my insertion here. I think that he, the nicer you are to him, as soon as he starts to trust you a bit, as soon as you're honest with him about him being a bit of a dick about something or just being mistaken in one of his beliefs, he really takes it as a knife in his back.
Yeah.
Do you ever notice, like his thing with Dragnut now, you're not even allowed to say Dragnut's name around him because Dragnut is very honest.
But
yeah,
and I'm next. I guess he's on his channel. Look, I've been very nice with G-Man for the last several months. I just talked to him today, you know, and I'm literally telling him we are just chilling with Aron. Come on in, say hi.
Yeah.
I'm being very nice to him and saying, I even told him the other day with the whole Shield Squad. I said, dude, if you need somebody to talk to, call me. You know, I'll be your friend. I'll listen to you. I've listened to Surreal. I've listened to Faithful to God. They seem like upstanding people. I've known Surreal for a very long time, actually, and I think he's pretty awesome. But I know that they were really hard on him, and with good reason. I think they did have a legitimate thing to say. But you know, I was going to help G out and be a friend to him, and I'm like, just come in and chill with us, have some fun.
Yeah, well, you know something, Steve. Yeah, you from what he said tonight, you're certainly going to be next on that list. But
sure.
Yeah, I listened to some of that stuff, and that's why I mentioned Dragnut because you know, Drag's been honest with him like that, and then now he's all blown up at Dragnut because he thinks everything's a knife in his back. This last little blow up, I had heard that you'd reached out to him to just be like, hey, you know, it's cool. You know, G-Man needs more of this, like you said. Well, we're just sort of hanging, we're just chilling with Aron tonight. He needs to join more of those things. I go into a thing with Matt Slick or you know, with that Andrew Rappaport. We don't get along well on the air, but everybody knows we just sit around and we just chill. It's fine. And then you have your, you know, there's a respect that's there. G-Man needs more of that time, but he just seems so defensive. So the thing with, so I know you reached out to him. I also, when I heard that stuff, I was going to send him a Skype message saying, hey, you want to just talk, whatever. And then I remember, oh no, the fucking guy's blocked me on Skype. So like anybody who actually is the honest people like you or me or Dragnut or anybody, they'll just say, hey buddy, like what's going on? You know, whatever, let's chill. The nicer you are to him, the more explosive he is, the more he feels backstabbed when you correct him on something. And like I say, I'm that kind of buddy to him, but he's blocked me.
Yeah. Because I don't agree with his positions, but I did reach out to him. I know Dragnut's reached out to him. I know you've reached out to him. I know a lot of people try to reach out to him. That doesn't mean you have to accept their positions. But when we just having fun and chilling, especially after, you know, watching the hangout where we just had with Aron and Hovind, this after show was meant to have fun. Look at the name of the title, Elephants and Pine Trees. I mean, it's just, Aron's like, let's fuck it. You know, let's go ahead, let's hang out. And you know how Aron is. And we're like, okay, cool. You know, and we figured, yeah, invite G-Man in and we'll just, you know, kick it and whatever. And he comes in all defensive and antagonistic toward Aron. And it's like, oh, come on, man. So we just laughed. What are you going to do?
Yeah, by the way, I just want to take this chance. I don't think I'll get through to G-Man ever, but I just want to give him the chance. I just want to listen to him and have an honest conversation. I have absolutely no dog in the fight. I'm not even from the same country as him. So, I mean, I lived in the US for 5 years, but
I don't think.
Yeah, let's not go there.
I don't think it's even a matter of a dog in a fight. It's just a matter of somebody who is just completely off the rails. I mean, you could.
Yeah, but I want to give him. I want to give him an honest chance. I will let him define the entirety of everything.
No, I get that.
I just want to have a conversation.
Look, you have two of the nicest people in the entire fucking community in here right now, Hogtie and Scott. Who the fuck talks shit about either one of them? Never. They're two of the nicest people ever. Scott's almost to a fault nice, and yet still, G-Man. Well, you can be a dick sometimes too.
I get shit talked all the time.
There you go.
But that guy on here just calls me a murderer. That guy on here that calls me. You're not following that drama? That guy's calling me a murderer every couple of weeks.
No, I have no idea what the fuck you're talking about, dude.
I get shit talked now and again. Not from the same people. Maybe you meant
Scott and I give each other so much shit sometimes, and it's fucking hilarious.
When did I turn?
Oh, it's great.
Steve,
I love it.
When did I turn?
Yeah, that's
into a
fun.
meaning?
It's like everything.
I think we should.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think we should put G-Man and the Pilot Man together. I would pay to see those two.
What?
Have a conversation.
What was the second one?
The pilot.
That guy.
The guy who honestly
astrology.
Astrology.
Yeah, he swears though. He swears though. G-Man don't like that.
The guy who honestly asks you, "What planet are you on?" So we get the two of them asking each other, "What planet are you on?" No, what planet are you on?
I want to answer Moon and see his response.
I can't really stand being around G-Man. It's just me. I didn't laugh the whole time. I guess him and I don't really mix well because I just don't like how he just doesn't listen. I mean, I have listening problems too, but he never does.
I guess Aron and myself were blocked forever.
Yeah, it's fine.
I don't even know where to go with half this shit. It's just like, look at I
thought his return was going to be on March 12th.
Well, I didn't invite him. I didn't invite him. But like I said, I invited him to come chill. It's just like, God, can he have fun? I'm really kind of surprised. I'm actually a little disappointed, to be honest with you. I have good intentions, and it really was just come and chill with us, dude.
He just came in blazing, like you said.
Well, was it really any different after what happened with Shannon Q, though? I mean, he came in with an attitude then, too, and he had just had a really nice conversation with her.
Aron is not as pretty as Shannon.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he rubbed one out after, I think, didn't he?
Yeah, but Aron's
he was all relaxed later.
You know, no one's going to remember this, but back in 2013, I was on a drive, and I was having a Skype call with G-Man. I mean, my point here is I miss these days. G-Man used to be good for just to hang out and just talk about whatever. I don't know if anybody remembers the story, but I was driving, and I'd pulled over to the side of the road, and when I was, at the line, went over the tree line as a gentleman would, and as I was turning around and zipping up, there was a bear at my car. Yeah, and not to go over the whole story. I mean, it's interesting, but not on topic here. But the thing that was weird about it was I was talking to G-Man. I was using the Skype app on my phone, which I left in the car. So I was gone for like 25 minutes. And he told this story a number of times afterwards. He was like, "Oh yeah, I was the guy talking to Skype on Hogtie when that bear separated him from his car." And that's the weird thing about it. He used to be good for just, "Oh yeah, we're just chilling," and he just, it's been years since he will be just, come in and just chill with people. He really needs more of that.
Yeah, no, that's what I thought I was doing tonight. I know he had a lot of shit with the Shield squad, so that's why I was like, hey.
Well, this is the irony, because I'm guessing the content of the message you sent to him, where you're like, "Yeah, come on in, G-Man, it'll be cool. Just come on in and chill." Is that's now a bad thing, because you're saying come in and chill, and he's saying, "Oh, well, Steve lied to me by saying that I should come in and chill." And that's the irony of it. It's when you're nice to
him,
he'll turn it around into the, well, you shouldn't have been nice to him, because that's, like, I guess you're supposed to be a dick to him. I just, it's when he gets in this mood, there's no, it's
here. This is, I'm not going to read you what he wrote me, because that's private. But what I write, I can say. But I said, Kent got utterly obliterated to the extreme, but 750 live viewers was pretty impressive. You should come in and say hi to Aron.
Come in and say hi.
That's not innocuous?
God, you're a dick.
I know shit, right? I'm a total asshole for saying, "Hey, why don't you come in and say hi to Aron?"
And making a suggestion cannot be a lie, right?
By definition, it's an idea of what you should do in the future. It's subjunctive.
Yeah, you're making.
It was a trap, Steve. You set a trap for him.
And I said, he said,
Admiral
I told him what I was doing. I said, come on in for the Aron Raw Kent Hovind after show. Aron is chilling in the after show. Come say hi. Room for one if you want to take it fast. I'm a real dick, right?
Yeah, and he lashes out too. He picks things to say. he likes to say things that he thinks hurts your feelings. Like tonight, he's going to what he understands to be some recent history of interpersonal problems you're having with some other people. You didn't react to it, right? You didn't say, "Oh, I'm going to cry because he mentioned this other guy's name." But he's searching for it. He's lashing out for it. But like I say, he does that stuff. But I don't know. I'm gonna wander around and just spend some time with my wife. Hey, but before I go, we do have to solve this big debate that's going on in the live chat. And you know what? Don't choose sides. Don't come at it with your presuppositions, right? Approach it objectively and honestly. Who does have nicer hair, Aron Ra or True Empiricism?
Oh, you know what? I'm going to answer that question, and I'm going to tell you. I think that Ronnie has the most luscious hair I've ever seen.
I get it. Yeah.
But the problem is
I've never seen his
I
hair.
I would frolic naked through that hair if I was like small.
Yeah.
And gay.
But see, Steve,
Think of Cher in
I'm not gonna.
If you want to know what Turbine's hair looks like, think of Cher in 1977. That's
my issue with Ronnie's hair is cleanliness. I'm pretty sure Aron keeps his hair a lot cleaner than Ronnie.
Ronnie keeps his hair brush. My hair I wash twice a day, and it's I have to use conditioner because it gets like knotted up. But I have Brillo pad. You know, I'm freaking Semitic Jew, so I mean it's just
Aron. It's more than the brushing. Aron also has a conditioning routine it's an investment of time. I don't know that Ronnie puts that much time into it, and yet I gotta say, I think Ronnie's got the nicer hair.
Ronnie has
great hair. I would sooner like tickle Ocean's beard before I would even consider frolicking through Ronnie's hair.
We would all frolic through Ocean's beard, that's for sure.
No offense, Steve, but Ocean's beard is better than yours.
I love Ocean. I'm not. Why would I disagree with that? Yeah.
It's pretty much everything.
You know what? You should really check out my Manscaped. It is.
Oh, dude, no.
That
Let's
is
not go there. Please.
Maybe we should stop the broadcast at this point.
Oh, you know what, Steve? And I was going to say, I'm getting impressed with the beard. And then, I forgot. I know his real name. I forgot his Desert File. So Desert File comes out of where the fuck has he ever been? And you see his beard?
Yeah.
You may as well just shave yours off now, Steve.
Yeah, no,
Did you see it?
I did. I shaved my entire beard. I shaved.
Did? Okay.
Yeah, I shaved.
Yeah.
I have to go tea now.
Yeah, that guy just disappeared for however long, and then he comes back. He's like, "Oh, this flat earther's fucking making a new video."
Yeah, he looks like he's been on a desert island for the last 10 years.
Yeah, were you trapped somewhere? Like, how did that happen to your face? But you know what? He's healthy. He's doing well, and good for him.
Flat earthers everywhere.
Oh, speaking of flat earthers, did you hear that I have a phone interview with Mike Hughes?
Oh yeah, how did that come about?
I'm just all over the place, and so I happened to run into him on a group, and he was telling it, how his time is pretty valuable, but I made it. I was like, hey, we got a podcast, it's going places, blah blah blah, and I made it sound like we're doing him a favor. So,
yeah. Okay. Well, is the interview going to be before the flight or after the flight?
Yeah. No, his flight's on March 6th.
I'm guessing the before the flight time comes at a bit of a higher premium.
Well, he'll probably be dead afterwards.
Does he mean
I think he could fire sale pre-book those interviews at fire sale prices?
Yeah. When you say his time is valuable, do you mean short?
I feel bad for saying
short. No, I you know what? I told the guy, I said, look, we all wish you luck that you don't die.
I don't want him to die.
Yeah. I really
don't want you to die.
No, but
speaking of which,
really don't.
I would like to know how his rocket works.
By the way, G-Man's over on his channel bitching about how Mormons aren't Christians again.
Yeah, he's really fixated on that. And you know what? Whatever. Let him believe what he wants. I mean...
Wait, he's live now?
Yeah. He's been live.
He's live.
He's been live.
But 2 minutes after
he came in.
About 2 minutes after he pissed his pants and got out of here, yeah.
Yeah. Can someone link it? I mean, can someone link his live...
No. Can I tell you guys something? I've been permanently banned by G-Man like a dozen times in the last 3 years, so... Let's go with that.
Here, Ganesh, here you go. There it is.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I don't know what it means to permanently ban somebody. I've not been in G-Man's Hangout in how long?
Yeah.
I've been in G-Man Hangout. I mean, what is he banning? I don't know.
He's probably banned this channel anyway. He probably didn't ban you. He probably banned Great Debate Community, your sub-channel.
By the way, why
he thought he was on Kyle's channel. He didn't know where he was even at.
By the way, why did I come in as Great Debate Community? When
I was about to ask you. And also because I feel bad for this. I've forgotten your name.
It's Heretic or Deborah, whichever.
Deborah, right? Sorry about that. Are you hunkered down somewhere? You got the storm coming in?
No, I'm in Ontario. So
it's not going that far east. Okay, yeah, fuck it. I don't care. I don't care. You're fine. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, I'm fine. No, I just thought it was weird because I'm signed in as myself. So I was like,
yeah, no, you know what? I couldn't figure out either. I'm logged in under GDC, and I thought 3 times I checked, and I'm under my main account, and for some reason it wouldn't let me come into my main account. So I don't know what was up with it. So we might have the same glitch.
Fucked up because
leave it to Google.
Because Dave is GDC too, and I'm like, I don't need to be GDC. Why am I GDC?
We all need to be GDC. By the way, before we go off air here, I'm putting the Twitter link in the live chat, and if I remember, I'll put it in the video description. But it won't really matter. It's only for 24 hours. But go vote on the Non Sequitur Show on Twitter. So it's the Non Sequitur Show at Non-Sec Show, and you can find us easily enough. But so the question is on the discussion poll: did Ken Hovind answer Aron Ra's phylogeny challenge? And right now it's running 33% yes and 97% no. With 37 with 21 hours left. So 37 votes and 97% have already said no. I think Ken's in for a surprise because I don't see how anybody can think
he really thought that that people were gonna think he did well.
I don't think I can't believe that. No.
Well, you'll notice the name of that. You'll notice the name of the live stream here is Elephants and Pine Trees.
That's going to live on it for perpetuity.
Oh, I know. I'm just like really.
I do believe that elephants and pine trees are indeed they are different kinds.
But we should do some experiments to see if they mate properly, and we'll take a pine tree and an elephant, put them in the same room with some candlelight music, and see what happens.
We'll have to turn the lights down real low, and then we will get out a stopwatch and come back 3 days later.
And
if one of them is pregnant,
you all suck.
I don't know which one.
You all suck compared to Aron's. Aron's impression of Kent is well practiced.
This is good. But they never. He never.
We're gonna put them in a room with a percolator.
Well, he never said whether the tree or the elephant gets pregnant. That's the trippy part.
Well, is it
I think the one with uterus is the one that gets pregnant. The tree is obviously phallic.
Well, but the tree
don't have uteruses.
But what if the tree just drops seeds and the elephant's supposed to fertilize them? Like that could be.
Look, I think.
But
obviously you're very ignorant in biology. The seeds are in fact the sperm of the tree, and the elephant will then. Well, I don't want to get too educational.
No, you don't understand. The elephant inhales the pollen, which is the tree sperm.
So G-Man's going full anti-GDC and anti-Steve. It's okay.
Yeah.
Look, I've lived with the motto now. Do your thing, I do my thing. That's it. I can't focus on all the drama stuff. I tried to be nice to G. I really have. I'm very sincere with him. I don't know what the fuck happened, and we were laughing. We were trying to laugh with him tonight. It eventually we were laughing at him. Sure, I'm not going to say otherwise. But the shit was funny.
Well, I side chatted it because I didn't want to bring it up again. But yeah,
saying the same thing.
A lot of it's I'm in the same place. I mean, I like being nice to the guy. Like I say, I'm repeating myself a little bit here, but it's when you're nice to him and then you're honest with him, he feels stabbed in the back. And this is people may have seen it. Around the time that Emperor Atheist had started to sort of show up amongst our midst, and I was in a chat, I think on Dragnet's channel with Emperor Atheist, and G-Man was there, and he just started losing his shit. And the thing he kept bringing up was, I just talked to Hogtie like a month ago. We talked for an hour and a half, and it was a good conversation, but now he's being mean to me. And all I said in response to that is, I do like talking to you, G-Man, but I don't feel any special need to be extra polite to you when you're being a jackass. Even when I came in here earlier, when I said, and Steve, it was very nice of you because I sent you a message saying, well, we're going to go have supper. So I just wanted to say hi. And then I was in and out. And I didn't address G-Man. I didn't push his buttons, anything about that. The first thing is oh, well, Hogtie's going to talk. Oh, well, I guess I'm going to go have dinner and go watch a movie. And I said, okay, fine, be a jackass. Anyway, so I just started talking to Aron because I don't feel the need to be like, this is what a friend really does. When somebody's a jackass, you tell how you're being a jackass anyway, and you just press on, right? But he really takes that as a knife in the back. I don't know what to do about it.
Shame. It really is. It really is.
G-Man is
I hear
lucky.
In-N-Out has good burgers.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
But anyways, I really want to thank everybody who watched the Hovind and Aron discussion tonight. I gotta admit that went a hell of a lot better than I thought, even what I expected. And we had 2 programs out of it because of the technical problems that they had in the last one. And I know Aron enjoyed that. He really enjoyed that conversation. He's been waiting 2 decades for it, and he does want part 2. And he did enjoy.
By the way, guys, I just want to point out. I am on G-Man's channel now, and I offered to have an honest conversation with him. So he is asking his moderators to block me. I just want to point that out.
That's funny.
I just want to point that out.
Wait a week, he'll forget. Wait a week, he'll forget.
You got 3. You got the one last night. You got the actual one with Kent and Aron, and then you got this bonus icing on the cake.
Yeah, this was a trifecta, wasn't it? You know. Yeah. I gotta admit, I was surprised to
Give me
turn
a time
out.
machine. I'm going to go back and promote it.
760 people we had watching that live.
I
That's
saw
a
that.
pretty good record. I think that even surpasses what Red has had for a live feed. Now, granted, he has 1 million views on his video, which he does well deserved. That IS Transat video is just a masterpiece. But I don't know many people that have that kind of viewership, especially on a newer channel. That wasn't even on my main channel. That was on the Non Sequitur channel. It just barely now just hit 1,000 subs. It had 760 people watching.
And 6 weeks ago, that channel did not exist.
Yeah.
Wait 3 or 4 days, and then it'll actually pick up a little bit over the next couple of weeks. I think you're going to see a lot of dissection picking apart on a lot of the smaller channels. You're going to see people pull snippets out of there and address points that were made. I mean, 700 viewers is nice, but it's not going to be a one-off thing. There are going to be a lot of people who are looking forward to that. And it was a neat exchange. I'm going to go back and listen to it again and stuff. But for now, guys, I'm going to say hi to my wife.
And I know.
Thanks for having me in.
Aron's going to help promote the non-sequitur show a little bit too, and I'm sure that he on his channel he's going to make some kind of comment about the exchange. So I think that people are going to get some traction out of it. I'm hoping maybe Logic takes it apart as well, because he's been after Kent for a long time. So I think that video will get some traction. I'm hoping it does, not just for the viewership, but the fact that's a non-monetized channel anyways right now. So it doesn't. I'm not doing it for the monetization, but I think that video has so much to offer people, because I think that was a beautiful destruction of Kent. Just absolute destruction, because they got to talk about things we don't normally talk about in the moderated debates, because it got a little bit personal, I think, and I think it needed to be.
The numbers in the poll have changed.
1% to 99.
It is now 98 to 2 with 44 votes.
Well,
drastic change, I know.
G-Man just blocked Molly. Is blue meanie? Molly, how do you block Molly? Oh my God! What are you gonna do next? Block your cat? I mean, that's just like.
By the way, I have to say, I really feel bad for G-Man's cat. That poor thing, the way he was tossing it around.
I was so confused.
I know.
The cat's like, "What are you doing?"
The constant yelling.
Molly, I'm sorry.
He just picked up his cat and shoved it in the camera, and the cat just looked so concerned about what was going on. He's just like, "Am I going to live through this?"
And he does that with regularity. It's not like the first time he's ever picked up his cat and said, "Are you an animal?"
That cat is adorable.
Animal.
Yeah,
oh, it's a beautiful cat.
The cat was amazing, but it being used as a prop and thrown in front of a camera, I was like, stop doing that to your cat. The cat has no idea what's going on.
And he's sitting there bitching about mistreating animals while he's mistreating the animal.
Right. I know the cat just reacts.
Didn't he take a skunk?
But the skunk thing was funny. I know his cat just reacts when he gets picked up like what now? Like Mr. Plinkett's cat. I didn't know if anyone was going to get that. Oh, thank you for getting that, people.
All right.
I gotta go. See you guys. Have a good night.
So hot tight a while. I know you've been busy, and everybody else who's watched this and the other thing. Thanks a lot, guys. Rip it apart. Tell us how you think we did. We appreciate the feedback. We have Patreon now for the Non Sequitur Show. It's separate from my channel. So if you want Patreon for me for the things I put on my channel, great. But if you want to be a member of the Patreon for the Non Sequitur Show, go do it. And that is a whole different thing. And I think that's going to be well worth it, because the Non Sequitur Show is going to be the vehicle that gets, I think, the Great Debate community noticed a lot more, because I think that podcast has potential. We have a lot of things planned. We're going to have a lot of people coming in for it, and it's going to be awesome because we're going to get big names, big names. So with that, we're going to bid you a good night, and